Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another exciting live stream where we'll be talking about an interesting news story that broke a few days ago. Not a few days ago, I think it was just yesterday. And I think it's worth talking about. A lot of things to go through with regards to that. And we'll be talking about other things. Of course, we are still talking about Iran. We are still talking about the crazy people and their reaction to Iran. I know it's been a long time we talked about Candace Owens, but God willing, today we'll also visit that part of the internet. And we are going to be talking about a lot of wonderful, wonderful things. I hope you guys are ready. Just let me say a quick hello to people in the chat. John, how are you? How are you? I'm doing well, my brother. How is Texas? I hope you guys are having a wonderful morning. I guess this is probably 6 o'clock over there. So I guess that is what it is. That is my guess. And Daniel is saying that my thumbnail keeps getting better and better. Thank you so much. Of course, I will keep it up. I will keep it up 1000%. King of Current is saying shalom. Shalom to you too, brother. I hope you are having a very wonderful day. Just a reminder from John. Everyone remember to support the channel. Okay, that's how we usually start. This is the hand that I should raise, but every time I keep forgetting. Okay. Just a reminder to support the channel, okay? Go to www.buymeacoffee.com/ there's no even need to put www. Just buymeacoffee.com/NIG perspective. Go there and put your money where my mouth is, as always. And I will feel really, really blessed, okay? Thank you all for always coming. Please, guys, we are 13. Just smash the like button. Destroy that like button, okay? Let them know that we are live and we are ready to have a wonderful live stream. Smash the like button. John is letting us know this is 7 a.m. over where he is. Where is that? Is that somewhere in the United States or in Canada? Those are the places that have that. Okay, 6 a.m. You see? My guess is accurate. Yep. So I'm so excited to do this second live stream in the week. Let me bring my knees up, because whenever I stay like this, then you know that I'm 100% comfortable. And my knees are just showing, my tiny knees. Let me hide it so people don't see it. All right, what was I saying? Yeah, very excited to do another live stream, the second one this week. Man, we have so many 7 a.m. in the building. From Florida. Okay. Texas, 6 a.m. Florida, 7 a.m. What about New York City? Is it 7 a.m. to in New York City? I think that is what it will be. Why here in Nigeria, we're already saying good afternoon. So people are still saying good morning. Look at that. The beauty of time zones. Anyways, all right. So many things have been happening, right? Like many crazy things have been happening. And it's just interesting to see all these things like unfold. This person is letting us know that they are from New York City. How is New York City? Did you participate in the protest that we are about to talk about today? Did you get to witness it, or is it like very distant from where you stay? Is what's now the hotel? Is it Gracie? Is it Gracie or Macy? I don't even know. Something hotel. Anyways, we'll look into that shortly. I think it's the. Sorry, I'm trying to find the name of the hotel. Does anyone know the hotel I'm referring to? Can they help me? Anyway, when we read the article, we'll get to the building or whatever. Let me see if it is Gracie or Macy. Gracie. Okay, Gracie Mansion, not hotel. Gracie Mansion. Were you around there where the protest went down? Anyways, I don't have any intro again. I've run out of intros. Let's just get into the news story, okay? Let's just get into the news of the day. All right, this is the news. 2 men were charged for throwing makeshift bombs near the NYC mayor's house. Here's what we know. And this is from CNN. I know many people don't trust CNN, but I think CNN really did quite a good job talking about the news story. So let's see what CNN has to say. Let me increase this so people can read along with me. Is this too big? Yeah, it is. let's keep it like this. All right, good. Two Pennsylvania men on Saturday followed the route taken by thousands as they crossed the George Washington Bridge into New York City. But less than an hour later, their trajectory took a dark turn as they were arrested for throwing homemade bombs during an anti-Muslim protest outside of Mayor Zohran Mamdani's home. I like how they wrote this article. It's as if it's a story, like you're reading a novel. It was a dark afternoon. The sun was bright. Oh no, the sun was this. Okay, it was a bright afternoon. The sun was out. It was scorching. The traffic was busy. Everything was. You know how stories usually open. That's kind of how this is opening. Two Pennsylvania men on Saturday followed the route taken by thousands as they crossed the George Washington Bridge into New York City. Wow, beautiful. So what happened? But less than an hour later, their trajectory took a dark turn. Then. As they were arrested for throwing homemade bombs during an anti-Muslim protest outside of Zohran Mamdani's home. Emil Balat, 18, and Ibrahim Kayumi, 19, were charged Monday with providing material support to a terrorist organization and using a weapon of mass destruction during let me read this well. Emit Balat, 18, and Ibrahim Kayumi, 19, were charged Monday with providing material support to a terrorist organization and using a weapon of mass destruction, among other charges, after they threw two improvised explosive devices, also known as IEDs, during a protest, according to a criminal complaint filed in federal court. This is the face of one of the suspects. This is Ibrahim Kayumi, being detained by New York Police Department officials outside of Gracie Mansion during an anti-Islam protest and an anti-Nazi counter-protest in New York on March 7. March 7, that's 2 days ago. Okay. The men told law enforcement that they were inspired by ISIS, the terrorist group that has seen a resurgence in recent years. This was a planned attack motivated by extremist ideology and inspired by a violent foreign terrorist organization, the New York Police Department Commissioner Jessica Tisch said at a press conference. The event came as the city is near the tail end of the Islamic holy month of Ramadan, all while taking place outside the residence of the city's first Muslim mayor. I mean, the irony is just magnificent, isn't it? I mean, this is towards the end of the holy month of Ramadan, right? And this is happening in New York City, while the city has its first Muslim mayor. And this is an Islamic inspired terror attack. Is this not fantastic? I mean, it's just checking all the box when it has to do with Western understanding of the religion of peace, of course, right? I mean, this is beautiful. Very, very beautiful. The event came as the city is near the tail end of the Islamic holy month of Ramadan. It's not just the city that is at the near tail end, the entire world, right? All while taking place outside the residence of the city's first Muslim mayor. As investigators look into the two men's ties with ISIS and their motivations, here is what we know about the situation. The attack stemmed from an anti-Muslim protest. Of course, that is important to point out because we need to talk about Islamophobia, right, ladies and gentlemen? Of course, we have to talk about Islamophobia. So here goes. On Saturday, an anti-Islam protest organized by right-wing, they called it right-wing, I thought they would say far-right, but okay, organized by right-wing influencer Jake Lang, or Ling, I don't know how that last name is pronounced, but influencer Jake attract about 20 people, with about 125 people coming to a counter-protest dubbed Drive the Nazis Out of New York. Tisch said the protest was near Gracie Mansion, the mayor's residence. The group stayed in their own designated area, but tensions escalated when a protester associated with Lang's group pepper-sprayed counter-protesters around 12:15 p.m., she said. 20 minutes later, a counter-protester, later identified in court documents as Balat, threw an ignited device towards the protest area, which landed on a crosswalk, Tisch said. Video showed protesters and police quickly scattered to avoid the device. Witness reported seeing flames and smoke as it traveled through the air before it struck a barrel and extinguished itself a few feet from police officers, the commissioner said. You know what? This is one of those things that you see and you say, Allah is indeed the best of planners. I mean, he has the best soldiers. He has everything about him is the best. And the best peoples are Muslims. You know, even carrying out a terror attack, they don't even know, they don't have the competence to do just that. And that is because Allah is indeed the best of planners, always aiding his best soldiers, of course. And this is how he aids them. Alhamdulillah. Balat then retrieved a second device from Kuyumi before lighting it and starting to run. The complaint said he dropped the second device on the street where it appeared to emit smoke but also did not explode, according to Tish. I mean, fail once. Okay, excuse, I can grant you the excuse. You fail once, right? But fail twice. Come on, Allah is indeed the best of planners. Balat and Kuyumi were arrested after the device were thrown, Tish said. On Monday, they were charged with providing material support to a terrorist organization using a weapon of mass destruction, Okay, this is what they were charged with. Providing material support to a terrorist organization, that's one. Using a weapon of mass destruction, that's two. Transportation of explosive materials, that's three. An unlawful possession of destructive device. And an interstate transportation and receipt of explosives, according to the complaint. So they have probably how many now? That's like 5 or 6 charges, as Allah designed, right? The anti-Muslim protesters... The anti-Islam protester accused of using pepper spray was also arrested, and 3 others were arrested on suspicion of disorderly conduct and obstructing traffic, Tish said. Mamdani said that he and his wife who is also a supporter of terrorists, were not home during the time of the protest. So what else? Sorry for belching out loud. Sorry for that. Suspects were teens from Pennsylvania. Balat and Kayumi both made comments saying their actions were related to ISIS, according to authorities. As Kayumi was being placed into an NYPD vehicle, an official's body-worn camera footage captured someone asking why he had done this, and he responded with ISIS, the complaint said. After waiving their Miranda rights, Kayumi also told authorities he watched ISIS propaganda on his phone and his actions were partly inspired by the terrorist group, according to the complaint. Alhamdulillah. Or as people like, I am waiting for when Sneeko and the likes will say this is a false flag because, you know, when Balat was placed in a separate police car, he made statements without being questioned, Tish said. An officer's body camera footage captured him saying, this isn't a religion that should stand. This isn't a religion that just stands when people talk about the blessed name of the prophet. We take action. If I didn't do it, someone else will come and do it, according to the complaint. Alhamdulillah, you have that in New York City. You have that in America right now. You have people with that mentality. And this is what they are saying. These are young people, 18 and 19, right? This isn't a religion that just stands when people talk about the blessed name of the prophet. We take action. If I didn't do it, someone else will come and do it. That's what this person was saying. And that was caught on a body camera worn by an officer. When he arrived at the precinct, Balat also waived his Miranda rights and requested a piece of paper where he wrote that he pledged his allegiance to the Islamic State, adding, "Die in your rage, you kuffar," or ya kuffar. Alhamdulillah. The complaint said, kuffar is an Arabic term that refers to non-believers or infidels. The FBI agent who wrote the details in the complaint said. An officer asked him if he knew about the Boston Marathon bombing and if that was what he wanted to accomplish. The complaint said. According to the complaint, Balat responded, no, even bigger. It was only 3 deaths. So he was saying the Boston Marathon bombing, it's just 3 people that died. We wanted to go for something bigger. But, you know, Allah was on our side, so our explosive did not detonate. That is fantastic. Is that not? Neither of the men have criminal histories, Tish said on Monday. The 2 teens were both from Pennsylvania, authorities said. And Balat is currently a 12th grade student at this school district, a district person spokesperson. Wow, this is a wonderful statement on CNN. CNN website. A district person spokesperson. Powerful. Anyway, a district person spokesperson told CNN, Mahdi Ismidi and an attorney representing Balat told CNN it's not clear how his client even came to be in New York to be involved in this, adding he's still trying to figure it out. Of course, all of this is all a miracle. Okay, this is one of the miracles that Allah is famous for. There is no indication that Balat had a relation with Kayumi prior to Saturday's incident, and they didn't have prior school, family, or work ties, Ismidi said. Balat, a U.S. citizen, turned 18 2 months ago and lived at home with his parents in Pennsylvania, a small suburb about an hour north of Philadelphia, he added. I know the family was very surprised by what happened. Of course, they are always very surprised. Their child is a good boy. They could not believe that such a thing could happen. Only God, only Allah knows what would drive such a good child to do something so violent, especially when he's a Muslim and there is nothing in Islam that promotes violence. You know, Islam is a religion of peace, according to Sahih George Bush. Okay? 9529. Check it out. Where was I? I know the family was very surprised by what happened, Ismidi said, adding they've been cooperating with law enforcement after a search warrant was executed at their home. Kayumi is being represented by a public federal defendant. CNN has reached out to their office for comment. The FBI searched a storage unit in Pennsylvania Monday related to the incident. The FBI New York office said in a post on X, but didn't share any other detail. A large law enforcement presence was seen Sunday around one of the arrested teenagers' home in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, according to CNN affiliate KYW. The FBI is conducting court-authorized law enforcement activity in the area, but didn't provide details. The FBI Pennsylvania office told CNN both suspects were remanded to federal custody and are being held without bail after the initial court appearance on Monday. They are scheduled to appear in court on April 8th. At least two devices found with materials. Look at why is CNN writing like this? At least 2 devices found with materials found. My goodness. Okay, 2 devices recovered from Saturday's protest were each approximately the size of a mason jar, and each had an attached fuse, the complaint said. They also had nuts and bolts attached to the exterior, with everything surrounded by duct tape, according to the complaint. The device thrown into the crowd of protesters tested positive for an explosive substance called TATP, also known as the mother of Satan. Alhamdulillah, as the mother of Shaitan. Fantastica. Let me read this paragraph again. This is fantastic. The device thrown into the crowd of protesters tested positive for an explosive substance called TATP, also known as the mother of Satan, court document said. The second device is still being analyzed. Bomb technicians from the NYPD and FBI did control detonation of the 2 IEDs, which resulted in a significant explosion. So the only problem is that these explosions, this whatever they threw, these devices did not detonate. If they had detonated, the explosion would have been significant and people would have gotten hurt or probably lost their life. These guys were really going for something bigger than the Boston Marathon bombing. But alhamdulillah, the bomb did not detonate because, of course, Allah is always on the side of the kuffars. Alhamdulillah. Mashallah, mashallah. Anyways, moving on. A third device found on Sunday is being investigated in connection with Saturday's incident, NYPD said. That device tested negative for explosive material, Tish said. Wow, a lot of devices. After Balat was arrested Saturday, authorities found a car several blocks away from Gracie Mansion that was registered to Balat's family member. Okay? This was registered to a family member of Balat and was captured moving across the George Washington Bridge into New York City at 11:36 a.m., the complaint said. Police found a multitude of items in the car, including a coiled green material consistent in appearance with hobby fuse, an empty metal can similar to one found in one of the devices, and a notebook that said TATP explosive. and listed chemical ingredients, the complaint said. Who was driving that car? It is important to know who was driving that car. We need to know all the people involved in this wonderful plan that Allah definitely helped to succeed, because Allah is the best of planners. So we need to know who we are involved in this Allah's best of plans. Saturday's attack was the first time in almost a decade the city has dealt with someone utilizing IEDs to harm others. The last incident was when Kayad Ullah detonated a device on his torso in 2017 in the middle of central Manhattan's transportation hub in an act that only injured the assailant. Officials denounced attack as city is in heightened state of alert. Okay. Mamdani denounces the anti-Islam protest as being rooted in bigotry and racism, alhamdulillah, but called the bomb being thrown into the crowd even more disturbing, okay? Violence at a protest is never acceptable. The attempt to use an explosive device that hurts others is not only criminal, it is reprehensible and antithesis to who we are. And the antithesis of who we are. Okay, sorry. It is reprehensible and the antithesis of who we are. Who we are by who? Who are you referring to? Are you referring to your fellow Muslims? The mayor said in a statement. He also thanked the police officers who ran towards danger without hesitation to protect the city. Of course, Zora Mamdani is not going to mention ISIS because, he's not going to mention Islam. He's not going to even say Islamist. He's not even going to say radical jihadis. He's not going to use any of those words, all right? It's just people who are crazy, people who love violence. It's just a bunch of crazy teenagers doing something that is not indicative of what New York represents, or maybe New York Muslims represent, alhamdulillah. Even though, Zora Mamdani's wife is famous for promoting terror activities in Gaza and, championing and celebrating terror attacks in Israel, and Zora Mamdani himself is famous for showing his support for terrorist groups, but that is not who he is. Okay, that's not what New York is all about. Attorney General Pam Bondi announced charges against the two men on X, saying they will not allow ISIS poisonous anti-American ideology to threaten this nation. The attack comes as New York City was already in a heightened state of alert because of the war in Iran, Tish said. We will continue to deploy additional counter-terrorism resources throughout New York City, including heavy weapons team, canine units, aviation, and more, she said. As the investigation into the terrorist attack near Gracie Mansion and military action in Iran continue, New York State remains in a heightened threat environment. New York Governor, this person said in a post on X. New York State Police increased their presence at sensitive sites across the state, while more than 1,000 National Guard members remain deployed, protecting critical transit sites across New York City, she said. Isn't that fantastic that while there is a war in Iran, people in New York City need to, they need to be heightened security in New York City and many other cities in America because Muslims may, decide to carry out plans, wonderful plans of peace, of course, right? And moving on from that, here is more about this news story. We'll go on X where we get all the news stories. So here are some clips from the protest and how it went down and how some of the things that happened went down, okay? So here is one of them.
You don't live in New York. You're coming to New York to tell people who belongs in New York and who doesn't belong in New York. We were born and raised in New York, and we want everyone here to stay in New York. You don't get to come from outside and then tell everyone else.
This is so iconic. This is so iconic. This is so iconic, ladies and gentlemen. You have no idea how iconic this is. This is as iconic as Trump when he was shot and then he stood up with, the blood stain, trickling down from his ears, and then he had his fist in the air, and then he said, fight, and then it was, there was this camera that captured it. This is so iconic. This still frame right here, where is that? Where is that still frame? This one, very iconic. Very, very iconic. But it's not just the steel frame that is iconic, but this clip in general is just so iconic. So iconic. You have somebody who is a leftist, whose brain has been damaged with leftism. In fact, another important fact about this person who is speaking with this megaphone is that this person is a Jew. Okay, this is a Jew in New York. A Jew, probably one of those Jews that voted for Zora Mamdani, right? You have this person, a leftist, somebody whose brain has been, destroyed by leftism, by all this, tolerance, inclusion, and, cultural enrichment nonsense. His brain has been destroyed by all of that slop, right? And then he's with his megaphone preaching about tolerance, preaching about how everyone is welcome in New York City, how you don't get to tell people who should be and who should not be in New York City. And why he's saying that nonsense. A radical Islamist runs from behind him and then uses him as like climbs on top of him as he throws an explosive device to a crowd of people. That is so iconic. That is representative of what is happening in the West. You have people who are supporting terrorism. And this is the kind of language that they use to support that terrorism. And while they are supporting terrorism, terrorists are getting behind them, using their back as a support structure to carry out terror attacks. This is iconic right here. This is very iconic. This is very, very iconic. A very bold message to the West. This is what you guys are doing to your society. This is what the leftists in your society are doing to your society. They have provided their back as a support structure for radical, crazy Muslims. This is an encapsulation of suicidal empathy. As in, this is a encapsulation of it. Somebody just said that in the comment, and that is 100% the case. This is an encapsulation of suicidal empathy. The funny thing is that after this person, although I don't know if but I saw the tweet of this person. This person went on Twitter. This very man who is busy telling us, about, how everyone is welcomed, went on Twitter and continued to say that everyone is welcomed. Nothing will make him change his mind. If that bomb had exploded and he had died, his ghost will come back. If his ghost can be seen and his ghost did not go straight to wherever, is destined for him, we will hear his ghost still talk about, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Nothing can change these people's mind. This is what leftism does to the brain. This is what leftism does to the brain. Yeah, here is the guy. I was in the middle of saying, as a born and raised New Yorker, we welcome everyone into this city, when he threw that over my head. And I still stand by it. As a born and raised in New Yorker, everyone is welcome. Nothing has changed. That's why I say this kind of stupidity does not go out except by prayer and fasting. I'm telling you, this is... So is it actually physically used as a launching pad for an ISIS bomb? Yet still doubles down. As in, you were actually physically used as a launching pad for an ISIS bomb. Yet you still have the mouth to open it. You still open your mouth and say the nonsense you are saying. You were used as a launching pad for a bomb that was... My goodness, there is no saving these people. Somebody said, mostly peaceful protest. Typical brain-dead liberal. And here is one that I've seen. Say, everyone is welcomed here. And then, Allahu Akbar. And here is more from what happened in New York. Here are more clips from what happened in New York. Let me make this a bit bigger, so.
Get a circle.
You have ISIS terrorists in New York. This is incredible stuff. Right? This is very incredible. And it's not just that. While he was being arrested, you can hear him say Allahu Akbar. Here he is. You can hear him say Allahu Akbar while he's being arrested. Did you hear that? Did you hear him say Allahu Akbar? Let me put it back. Let me take it back. Let me take it back again because you may not have heard it. Listen closely. Did you guys hear? Did you guys hear him say Allahu Akbar? Yeah. So.
Anybody got any keys to these cars? Who's got a key to a car? Who got a key? Right there. I need a key and I need an operator to the car. 2-3. Yeah, I got one. You got a car? Where is it? Right here. Right here. Man, South Africa. You got a key? No.
This is it, ladies and gentlemen. This is the beauty of Islam, of course. This is the beauty. This is the beauty of Islam. Here is that picture. Oh, here is the guy. Here is the guy. Here is the guy. I was in the middle of saying, as a born and raised New Yorker, we welcome everyone into this city when he threw that over my head. And I still stand by it. As a born and raised in New Yorker, everyone is welcome. Everyone except Chief Goat, whatever, Jake Lang. For those of you unfamiliar with Jake, he's the one who lost the letter S. And he said, I cannot stress this enough. This was right near our feet, and it did not look real. We just stood there laughing. Meanwhile, the incel femoid ran away, having been totally jester mugged. Their cortisol level has yet to recover. This guy thinks this whole thing is a joke. He said, I cannot stress this enough. It was right near our feet, and it did not look real. We just stood there laughing. Meanwhile, the incel femoid ran away. That means those on the other side, those who this were thrown at, ran away, having been totally jester mugged. Their cortisol level have yet to recover. He thinks all of this is a joke. And you can see community note, NYPD bomb squad confirmed it was real, describing it as an improvised explosive device that could have caused serious injury or death. And yet this moron thinks all of this is a joke. Wow. Let's play this again. Let's play this again.
We were born and raised in New York, and we want everyone here to stay in New York. You don't get to come from outside and then tell everyone else.
Oh. At what point were you laughing? At what point were you laughing, moron? If that stuff had exploded, you would have been dead. Let me see what some people are telling him in the comments, because I really want to. The way you are responding, someone said, the way you are responding to this isn't novel or brave. Yuri Bermonov already called you out all the way back in the 80s. You are being played. In real life, terrorist Muslim propelled off the back of a goy slop leftist. Both work together to push evil in this world. It's crazy because this guy that threw a nail bomb considered you a useful idiot for his ideology, and the mayor refused to call out his action. He used you as in you are a useful idiot by every definition. You are a useful idiot both physically and mentally. This guy is a useful idiot both physically and mentally. He was a launch pad, and mentally he's also a launch pad. And nothing about him has changed. What a moron. So I said, the last time I encountered you, you were defending the indoctrination and mutilation of children. I see you've moved on to defending actual jihadists. As a fellow born and raised New Yorker, allow me to tell you that you are an effing moron. And here he is doing, you know.
Wait, but what's wrong with Drag Story? You're saying this is Drag Story? I was convincing people to cut off their
Absolutely. Do you think it's appropriate? You can look, there's a picture of it right there. Do you think it's appropriate for grown men to go in front of children with signs on their chest saying, I don't want to look or be cis? And that's the message that's being sent to toddlers.
Toddlers. So, but wait, so first
You
off...
know if you repeat something in a smug way, it's still true.
Okay, so if there was a thing that said it's not okay to be cis, and I brought, well, first of all, this is voluntary. So if I was a parent and I brought my kid to this, and there was that, I'd be like, maybe this isn't for me.
It's not voluntary when it's in schools. It's just the parents.
This is not voluntary.
This is so, as in, I don't have the patience for this moron, like to even listen to him. So it's a recurring cast member. I mean, he's quite notorious for being this stupid. Supporting every current issue. This is an unfortunate individual. There is no... This is really an unfortunate individual. Let's see something else. Let's see something else that is being reported. Okay, so here let's listen to Zohran Mamdani and his statement, you know, that he released concerning all of this. Let's listen to Zohran Mamdani.
Of us were home at the time. This was a vile protest rooted in white supremacy entitled "Stop the Islamic Takeover."
Of course. It was rooted in white supremacy, rooted in hate, and then you had a bunch of, you know, very wonderful Muslims deciding to show just how unnecessary the protest was. You know, by the time those bombs were thrown, we all saw, oh, yeah, it wasn't necessary to protest Islam. To do an anti-Islam protest was totally unnecessary. After we saw the display of peace and love, we saw the bomb of tranquility that was thrown, you know, and it was the bomb of tranquility because it did not explode. After the bomb of tranquility was thrown, we all saw, who are the people that are protesting Muslims? Okay, these people are very harmless, totally harmless. There is no need to protest Islam in New York City. Absolutely no reason. After all of this, you could see all the fear, you know, is all uncalled for and unreasonable. Hence Islamophobia, right? After all of that, it became abundantly clear.
Of New York City. I'm the first Muslim mayor of our city. Anti-Muslim bigotry.
You may as well be the last, but continue.
Is nothing new to me, nor is it anything new for the 1 million or so Muslim New Yorkers who know this city as our home. Okay. While I found this protest appalling, I will not waver in my belief that it should be allowed to happen. Ours is a free society where the right to peaceful protest is sacred. It does not belong only...
Yeah, Muslims talking about free society. Yes. Like, show me one Muslim country that is a free society. Just show me one.
To those we agree with. It belongs to everyone. I will defend that right every day that I am mayor, even when those protesting say things that I abhor. Let me also be clear about something else. New York City will never tolerate violence, whether from protests or counter-protests. Many of the counter-protesters met this display of bigotry peacefully, with a vision of a city that is welcoming to all.
Yeah, it was
but
a mostly
did not.
It was a mostly peaceful protest. It was fury, but mostly peaceful protest. Alhamdulillah.
Two men, Amir Balat and Ibrahim Kayumi, traveled from Pennsylvania and attempted to bring violence to New York City. They are suspected of coming here to commit an act of terrorism. There is video of these two individuals throwing two devices towards the protest. The police department has determined that these were improvised explosive devices made to injure, maim, or worse.
Is that all the police found out? Why not tell us what the police found out about their intention, about their motivation, about their ideology? If these people were far-right extremists, if these people were proud boys, right? If these people were groypers, you would not wait to talk about it. So why not tell us what was their ideological motivation, Zohran Mamdani? What was it? Are you going to tell us?
Thanks to the swift and decisive actions of NYPD officers at the scene, both men were immediately taken into custody and the devices they brought taken off of our streets. I want to commend the officers who were on site.
Of course, he's not going to. He's not going to mention any of that. He's not going to mention any of that. This person introduced the clip by saying, Justin, Uganda Mayor Mamdani refuses to mention Islam when addressing the attempted IED attack by two Muslim men, one of which yelled Allahu Akbar. Instead, he made sure to call out white supremacy outside his house. This third warder is a traitor and should be deported. I mean, he talked about white supremacy, but he did not talk about radical Islam. He was quick to talk about white supremacy and how white supremacy and hatred and bigotry and racism is not allowed. But the other part is just violence. Okay, the side that ended up throwing the IED, their ideology is called violence. That is what they subscribe to. It's called violence. Right. This person posted this tweet from Non-McDonald. What terrifies me is if ISIS were to detonate a nuclear device and kill 50 million Americans, imagine the backlash against peaceful Muslims. Of course, the real victims are always peaceful Muslims, of course. And lastly, here is one of the things that I think we should look at before we wrap up with this news and move on to something else. Let's watch this.
We are currently investigating the incident that took place.
Let me take this back.
We are currently investigating the incident that took place outside of Gracie Mansion involving a bomb on Saturday. At this time, we do not have a clear motive, nor do we think that this was religiously motivated. Although, if you were to ask me, this has Amish written all over it. There is a theory that this may have been an ISIS-inspired terror attack.
Yeah, they were Amish. It was the Amish community that was responsible for the attack, of course.
Amish written all over it.
Yes.
There is a theory that this may have been an ISIS-inspired terror attack.
It's a theory, of course. Everything.
ISIS obviously stands for International Society of Israeli Settlers, so maybe, I don't know. It's important, though, that we do not use this as a vehicle to fuel more Islamophobia.
Yes.
Okay, there's no pattern here.
Yes.
Trying to connect the dots. It's nothing there.
Of course.
Okay, this is not an Islam thing.
Yes.
Cool it with that. Can't blame Muslims for every time they blow something up. It's not.
No.
It's not cool.
No.
It's not funny.
Of course.
We gotta stop doing that and
Yes.
blame Israel instead.
Yes.
Okay. It's a better use of your time.
Of course.
Any questions? You, yes.
Alhamdulillah. 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 This is fantastic stuff. This is fantastic stuff. All right. So that's the first news story on our agenda. We have 28 people watching us, 36 rather. Please smash the like button. Okay, destroy that like button. I want you all to demolish the like button. Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome those who are just joining us to the live stream. Okay, I hope you guys are comfortable. I hope you guys have been enjoying what we've been discussing thus far. Like John has said, and I have said as well, please smash that like button. It is free. Do you know that it is 100% free to smash the like button? So please smash the like button. And it is also free to share the link to this live stream to people you know who will be interested in watching this. So please also share it, okay? Please do all those wonderful stuff as we proceed to give you what you need. Anyways, so we are going to look at Nest. I have a couple of things that I want us to look at. I don't even know where to go from here, but we'll go somewhere, okay? All right, so let's look at Sneeko real quick, right? Let's look at Sneeko. Sneeko has been saying a lot of things. He has been responding, of course, to the debate that he had with Nick. Of course, one of his response was to block Nick on Twitter. And he has also been posting a lot of other interesting things. And we're going to be looking at all of that, reacting to all of that, because Sneeko is the gift that keeps on giving. And it's so beautiful to see. And of course, someone like Sneeko is someone who wants to keep going, keep making Islam look as brilliant as it can ever look. You know, Sneeko for the win, of course. And yep, so we'll get into that shortly. As we proceed, you need. My stuff just kind of froze for a minute. What was that? Sorry. Okay. Give me a second. Okay. So let's start with this one. So in this video, in this clip, Sneeko said that, what is this? Let me even understand this joke that people keep. I don't know if it is a joke. Let me Google it a bit with my phone. Just give me a moment. I want to understand what people mean by cortisol level getting, spiked or increasing or whatever it is that is. I guess cortisol is like, I don't know, a hormone or something. The vital steroid hormone produced by the adrenal gland, known as the body's primary stress hormone, okay? So when someone's cortisol is spiked or something, it means the person is stressed or, feeling angry or whatever. Anyways, I guess that is a new terminology that they use these days. Anyway, so according to this clip, Sneeko had a massive cortisol spike on stream, and he said, "They are trying to ruin my life." Sneeko. There is no person that is ruining your life more than you are doing, okay? You don't need our help. You are doing fine all by yourself, okay? Please don't blame us for something that you are doing. Take credit, okay? Take credit for what you are doing. Don't work hard and then the outcome of your hard work, you give it to someone else or you accredit it to someone else. This is all you, okay? This is 100% you. This is your hard work. You put a lot into this, okay? And you are reaping all the benefits. So enjoy and don't give credit to anyone else than yourself. Okay, you are like the 304s you are like the 304s you used to criticize. You guys have one thing in common amongst many other things. All your problems are self-made. Okay? So let's listen to Sneeko.
Ah! Cortisol spike.
Okay.
That's what they want. That's what Mossad wants. That's what they want. They want me. They're trying to ruin my life so I crash out and I can't stream. Yeah. They can't beat my arguments, so they're trying.
Say that they can't beat his argument. They can't beat it. Sneeko, yesterday I did a reaction video to one of your debate. In fact, your only debate with somebody who is more intelligent than you are. In fact, who's intelligent. In fact, somebody who did not even have to, use so much. Is someone who did not have to use as much as 10% of his brain power to defeat you in a debate. We just watched that happen. And somebody in the comments said that even a 4-year-old would destroy you in a debate. That is how easy it is to debunk all of your claims, to make you look ridiculous. And then you said that they can't defeat your argument. Sure, buddy, sure. Yes, 100%. Your argument is rock solid. Yes, 1 billion%. Yes, they can't refute your argument, but so they just want you to crash out. Of course, your argument is perfect, beautiful, 1000% the best, unrefutable. Oh my goodness. If delusion was personified, it would be Sneeko. How can you be this deluded? How can you be this deluded? You really think your argument is that solid? No. 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 You are one of the dumbest people on the internet. You're one of the dumbest people on stream.
Trying to ruin my life.
Yeah. They're trying to ruin your life. Yeah. Yeah, the ones that are, yes, the Mossad is trying to ruin your life, of course. During the holy month of Ramadan.
That's what they want. They want me, they're trying to ruin my life so I crash out and I can't stream. They can't beat my arguments, so they're trying to ruin my life. Isn't that crazy? Like, you guys see it 4K, right?
Yes, we see it. We see it in 4K. We see it in 10K. We see it in 1 million K. We see it on full display. We see it all. I mean, this is how Mossad ruined the life of people, okay? This is really how it... Sneeko, seek help. Seek help, one. Sneeko, seek help. Somebody said, the argument, by the way. Let's watch.
Charlie Kirk, should U.S. get involved in Israel's war against Iran? No. And so if anybody who says, you guys actually, people like me are allowed to say, we are Charlie Kirk now. We are Charlie Kirk. You guys can't say that. Kirk was completely against war in Iran. 100%. Towards the end of his career, especially the last year, there are so...
The last second before he died, he was even against Israel. 1 second before he was about to be killed, he was like, screw Israel. And then they shot him.
many tweets, posts, and podcast clips where he said this would be a disaster. You would need so many troops for regime change. We do not want more wars in the Middle East. We want to put America first. This does not benefit us. And then the same people are, yeah, USA, we are Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, maybe you also... Sneeko, you know what Charlie Kirk also said about Islam, right? Let's search for it. Let's search for it in case Sneeko is not aware. In case Sneeko is not aware, let's see if we can find that. These are just like some of the things Sneeko said, Charlie Kirk said about Islam.
The question is macro Islam compatible with Western values? Macro. Of course it's not. There are three major reasons why. Islam does not believe in freedom of speech. Mm-hmm. Islam does not believe in freedom of religion. Mm-hmm. And Islam does not believe in separation of mosque and state. Mm. Those three things are antithetical to the West.
But no. This is of course, this is how you know that Sneeko is Charlie Kirk. Okay? He is Charlie Kirk now, of course. Of course.
In a Muslim majority country, you are not, most Muslim majority countries, you cannot criticize the Prophet Muhammad. Mm. In most Muslim majority countries, you do not have the same robust freedom of religion protections. And finally, whereas we in the West are very careful to try to intermix religion and state, they are commanded to actually go into the state and try to change the state to be more Islamic around the core pillars of Islam. And the last thing I'll finally say is I cannot see a single Western country that has become more Islamic and has become a better place to live that is happier or freer.
By what metric? Just happiness, quality of life?
Everything from quality of life, from cultural cohesion. From
anything, by any metric. In Nigeria, come to Nigeria, the Muslim majority areas have at the least in human resource development. They are the least in everything. There is nothing about Islam that is good for human existence. It's like a human poison.
whether people want to live there prior to the native-born fertility rates.
Again, people watching this will say is your criticism of the religion itself or not Muslim people? Because there are British Muslims who have been born here.
But you don't have to caveat it all the time. I know you guys have to because you're British and all that. A culture ceases to exist when we don't have unified language. When you cannot talk to your neighbor. I'm not discounting that there are good individual Muslims. The question that we need to reckon with the West is Mohammedism compatible with the teachings of Blackstone? Is it compatible with the legacy of Wilberforce?
All right.
And the great thinkers that have come from this country? And I will say, no, there's a reason why when you go to these Islamic countries that you're not going to see the equal protection of rights, that you do not believe in universal human equality, that you do not believe the same things that we believe in the West. And I think it's suicidal to import millions of them.
Yeah, but of course, remember, Sneeko is 100% Charlie Kirk. Of course. Sneeko is 100% Charlie Kirk. I mean, we can play more. I mean, how many more of this do you want us to listen to? You know, we can play so much of this. I mean, let's listen to another one. I'm just feeling, I know
that you're Christian, and I guess my kind of concerns is like Islamophobia.
Are you Muslim?
Yes, I am.
What is the best model for a Muslim country in your view?
My dear, if you're in Iran, you live Islam, but...
I guess, like...
Do you enjoy not having to cover yourself in public?
Yeah, I guess.
So that you don't like Islam very much then, because majority of Islamic countries would require you to have full garb in public.
That's not fair to say that.
You literally could not dress like this in the streets of Riyadh as a woman.
You can't, yes. As a woman, you can't dress like that in Riyadh. You can't.
This is way too provocative, way too much skin. You as a woman, you don't have freedom of speech, you can't run for public office, you can't.
Of course, the place where Muslim women have the right and the ability to express themselves. And they express themselves and use that. Like, it is so, especially when it has to do with Muslim women, that's one I find really annoying and really irritating. Like, really, really irritating. These Muslim women in Muslim countries don't have they don't have a voice. They can't speak out. They can't say anything. And then they come to the West where they get the right to speak. They are given a voice. And the first thing that come out of their stupid mouth is Islamophobia. Is, they are oppressing us because we are Muslims. Go to Riyadh and go and say that nonsense. Go there. Go to Saudi Arabia and go and talk about how you are being treated as a Muslim woman.
Can't own property. Islam is against Western values. It's incompatible with Western values. And we in the West actually think you should have the rights that you have right now to speak and to be able to show, the skin you show here and, be able to have a happy life.
I know that you're...
But of course, this is another proof, right? That Sneeko is 100% Charlie Kirk. This is another proof. Here's another. It's another one. This is like a compilation.
I have really started, as you know, speaking more and more about Islam.
If you want to talk about how Islam mistreats women, we could talk all day long. Because you brought up female genital mutilation, which is a teaching of the Islamic faith.
Most Muslim-majority countries, you cannot criticize the Prophet Muhammad.
Muhammad, the greatest man ever to live, the greatest example, was a warlord who married a 6-year-old, raped her when she was 9,
100%.
and then kept multiple wives.
Yes.
Remember President Donald Trump openly ran on a Muslim ban into the United States of America?
Total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on.
Do you think Islam is compatible with Western civilization?
Absolutely not.
You get rid of Christianity, and then, even more dangerous, you go from secularism then to Islam. Because then you're like, well, we have to believe in something, and then you bring in a completely different ideology that's at odds with Western values.
I debated at Oxford and Cambridge back in May. These are broken, conquered cities and towns. They're completely unrecognizable. When I go walk through Piccadilly Square and there's just more Muslims than native-born whites, or there's something wrong about that, and that is a metamorphosis that... And you have to wonder, did you vote for this? Did you want this? Did you invite it?
I know a lot of great individual Muslims. My primary doctor in America is actually a Muslim, and he's amazing. That's not the point. You can walk the street and meet a great Muslim in London. The question is macro Islam compatible with Western values? Macro. Of course it's not.
As many as 1 million white English children may have been the victims of Muslim rape gangs.
Islam does not believe in freedom of speech.
11 slaughtered in the editorial meeting at the satirical weekly Charlie Hebdo. Supposed revenge for the paper's predictably provocative cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad.
Islam does not believe in freedom of religions. And finally, whereas we in the West are very careful to try to intermix religion and state, they are commanded to actually go into the state and try to change the state to be more Islamic around the core pillars of Islam.
Muslim armies move! Muslim armies move!
And this is how they speak. Muslim army move. Muslim armies move. See how they talk. They tell you who they are and what they want to do. But of course, people in the West will not listen.
We need to change the corrupt secular government.
Those three things are antithetical to the West.
In fact, this is the main reason why I decided to speak out, because after I left Islam, I had horrible deception and basically, oppression of my mind behind me. I wanted to get away from it, but I look into the world and I see people saying stuff like Islam is misunderstood. It's a religion of peace. It's not a religion of peace. It is not a religion that wants to coexist with you. We have today in the UK, in many other countries, we have Muslims preachers openly saying that the vision of Muslims should be to take over Western nations.
سنخصبهم وسوف ننزل وسوف ننجب منهم لأننا سوف نفتح بلادهم.
We've had imams in England saying they want to mount the West like a woman to be mounted and subdued. Gaddafi said something similar in the late 90s, saying that we're going to take over Europe without ever having to lift a sword. For anyone that has eyes to see and ears to hear and actually reads the Hadith and reads parts of the Quran, you know that conquest is an Islamic value.
It's one of the pillars of Islam, jihad, one of the pillars of Islam. I know they don't put it. They say, 5 pillars of Islam. No, pillar number 6 is jihad.
See a single Western country that has become more Islamic and has become a better place to live, that is happier or freer.
By what metric? Just happiness, quality?
Everything from quality of life, from cultural cohesion.
Is the Muslim world thrilled they're taking over the West?
Yes.
They tried for many years to conquer Europe through wars, only wars.
50 مليون مسلم في أوروبا بعد عشرات السنين سيحول أوروبا إلى قارة مسلمة.
This is the soft Islamic conquest of the West.
The spiritual battle is coming to the West, and the enemies are wokeism or Marxism combining with Islamism to go after what we call the American way of life. But soon, Britain will have more practicing Muslims than practicing Christians. I think that will be a catastrophic change, and everyone knows it.
But of course, Sneeko is 100% Charlie Cook. Sneeko. Anyways, so refreshing to just hear the voice of Charlie Cook. Voice of reason. Here's another one from Sneeko. Sneeko is I think Sneeko and Andrew Tate have been having they have been having quite a lot of back and forth, right? So Sneeko, I think Andrew Tate has threatened to expose Sneeko. And so Sneeko is responding to that threat. And this is what he had to say.
I know what he's going to bring up. I already know what the tactic is to be. These people are easy to read. I didn't want to address on stream. I'm going to address it before it happens. Maybe.
Okay, so the tweet that Andrew Tate made said 1,000 retweets, and I will finally explain why I had to stop talking to him. And by him, he's referring to Sneeko. So Sneeko is saying,
I know what he's going to bring up. I already know what the tactic is to be. These people are easy to read. I didn't want to address on stream. I'm going to address it before it happens. Maybe people will clip it up. What he's going to do, he's going to bring up clips from a podcast from like 5-6 years ago where I was a stand-up comedian at the time, and we were joking, and on streams joking about like, oh, have you ever thought about being gay? Yeah, it's a joke. The other one they're going to bring up, there's fake pictures going around where people pretend that there's these, like they say that you did gay porn. Most of those pictures are fake. The other ones, I was 17, and there are leaked photos that I sent to a girl that leaked online.
All right.
They're fake.
All right.
And people post that, and they've ran with this lie. Okay. The pictures that have circulated are not real.
Sure.
The other one, there's, and of course, I never wanted to talk about this stuff. It's embarrassing, but it got leaked, and then the person got arrested. Okay. It wasn't part of like this shoot or this magazine. This was private stuff, and it was posted.
Okay.
When I was 17.
Okay.
And that's circulated around. I already know what he's going to do. And then he's going to also show modeling pictures because I used to model high fashion for Burberry and Nike. Okay. That's what he's going to do. I guarantee you. Okay. So he's going to bring this up and then try, he's gay. But he's not going to talk about what my platform is used for this anti-war position.
Sneeko, if people criticize you, you can always respond, right? If someone say, oh, Sneeko, you just bashed my car, you can say, I am sorry I bashed your car. Or you can say, oh, but you were not driving well. Or you can explain yourself and explain what led to you bashing their car or what led to their car being bashed or your car being in the way of the bashing. You know, you can explain all of that without saying, oh, I bashed your car. Why are you complaining about me bashing your car? Do you know all my anti-war efforts? Do you know how I've been fighting for a free Palestine? Do you know how I speak up for Iran? You're not going to talk about how I speak up for Iran. You're going to talk about me bashing your car. What is me bashing your car has to do with all the great things that I'm doing? That's one thing you people will never mention. Like, you can always just address one issue without making everything become about Iran or Palestine. This is one of the madness that I've seen from Sneeko recently. Any criticism, anything. Sneeko was caught on stream eating pork. And people were calling him out for eating pork. Instead of addressing the eating pork thing and just leave it be, he goes to, oh, but nobody talks about like people are talking about me eating pork, but nobody will talk about Palestine. Nobody will talk about Mr. Beast and the fact that he has the mark of the beast on his. Nobody's going to talk about the Antichrist. Everybody wants to talk about Sneeko eating pork. Like, Sneeko, yes, there are 5 billion issues to talk about. And one of the ones that some people have chosen to talk about is yours. Answer the criticism being levied against you. You drank Red Bull during Ramadan and people pointed it out. That, look, this is hypocritical of somebody who is claiming to be a Muslim in public. Address that. No. Sneeko is like, but there are children in Gaza. The children are starving in Gaza, and you are talking about me drinking Red Bull during Ramadan. Like, whataboutism is what this guy is all about.
For not wanting to get my country to go and die for Israel while he lives in Romania.
What does that have to do with the fact of some of the things that they're about to expose about you? What does any of the war in Iran have to do with every other thing going on in your personal life? Like your entire life is defined by every current geopolitical issue. That is all your life is all about.
Talk, oh, Dubai, they're cloud chasers. But this is what they have. It's character assassination. I already know what it's going to be. Guarantee you. But also, what he might even do is go further and talk about people in my personal life, which is completely across the line. And it's time and time again, it's the people that are closest to you that you've defended the most. People that I've went to back and forth with moist criticals because I was defending people that I thought were my friends. Tate, I probably got banned and my reputation changed forever because of the Manosphere Association, the Red Pill Association, because I was defending him so much. Look at what he's doing now.
You are a stupid person. That is why you have all the problem you have. You are a stupid person. You keep associating yourself with stupid people, with snakes, people who will not hesitate to throw you under the bus. Somehow you fail to recognize that all these people and all this nonsense is not real, that everybody is grifting. Even when you are part of the grifting complex, the grifter industrial complex, you still pretend like all of this is supposed to be real. And that's why you have friends who are going to tear you apart whenever they get the opportunity. And you still do not learn. You still do not recognize what is going on. You keep asking stupid questions or keep pretending like you are childish, like you've never grown past the age of 14. Look at you, an adult with beards, and you're acting like an infant.
None of that was reciprocated into my face. Andrew Tate says, no issue, shakes my hand, and wants to do a video with me in New York. Then the club thing happens. It goes and tries to throw me under the bus to ruin my character.
And what did you expect? What did you expect? You think those are true friends? Because people went to the club together and we are singing Hi Hitler together. Because you think, when everyone was talking about Andrew Tate and what a despicable human being he was, you think we were all joking. You did not know? Like everyone else knew. Even those who were defending Andrew Tate knew.
My career. No, and I see people in the chat, you don't stoop to their level. That's what they want to bring you down. They want to demoralize you so that you don't keep speaking the truth.
My dude, you are the epitome of demoralization, okay? You don't know any... well, keep talking.
You got tech teams in Israel. I'm going to stick on this. I'm not going to get into these petty battles. I don't advocate for any doxing. I don't want anybody to stoop to that level and go there. Don't do that. We're better than that. This is love speech.
Sure. It is love speech.
This platform is used for something greater. I'm trying to get to the truth.
Yes.
And it's Ramadan. You're not supposed to spike your cortisol. This is a very holy time.
Yes.
Ramadan Kareem.
Yes.
Someone like Andrew Tate, he calls himself Muslim.
Yes.
He's going to talk about me, and he's going to try to assassinate my character more.
Even though, look at, this is another part of Sneako's whole shtick. This guy has been going after Andrew Tate relentlessly. He has. Even when Andrew Tate was not even paying attention to him, he has been going after him. But the moment Andrew Tate goes, as in returns the punch, now you are crying victim. My goodness. Oh, I'm not even defending Andrew Tate. I think the both of them, both him and Sneako, okay, I won't say equally despicable because Andrew Tate is on another level of despicable, right? He's like, Sneako is here in the despicable ladder. Sneako is here. Andrew Tate is like, you know, where he is self cannot be captured on the frame of my camera.
More than he's ever said a word about Ramadan. Talk about immigrants slaughtering your daughter. Hasn't said one word about the holy month, the most important time.
So Andrew Tate should not talk about immigrants that are slaughtering people's daughter because those immigrants are Muslims. But you, the guy whose platform is all about chasing the truth, right, is defending a regime that shoots its own people like between their eyes, drag their dead bodies, gather them and toss them, you know, like just discard their bodies anyhow, kill them, rape them, do horrible things to them. That is the regime that you are defending. But you're after the truth. That is why they are trying to stop you, because you are truth seeking right now.
Time for Muslims, and especially right now when there's literally a war on Muslims.
Yeah, a war on Shias. And as a Sunni Muslim, you believe that Shias are also Muslims. This is fantastic stuff right here.
People in our government are saying Muslims don't even belong in our country. Congressman. And yeah, this is nothing new. I have nothing to hide. I never committed a crime. So they want to go there, man, then they're going to go there.
So there is that. There is a, Sneako crying victim because he's afraid that Andrew Tate might expose him. What else do we have from Sneako? Because the subject of Sneako is beginning to sound like very boring to me. Okay, here is Sneako. Sneako went to a mosque, to Hagia Sophia. That's the the cathedral in Turkey that has been transformed, a church in Turkey, a Christian church that has been transformed to a mosque. Somebody said it's Ramadan. You're not supposed to spike your cortisol. I believe dehydration leads to spikes in school. Of course, 100%, 1 billion%. Anyways, so this is one of the recent visitations from Sneako. He went to Hagia Sophia, and this guy Peter B is a Christian from Greece, and he says Sneako, the spiritual transvestite, blames everyone. Sneako, the spiritual transvestite, blames everything on the Jews and screams about genocide, then proudly visits Hagia Sophia in Constantinople, a Christian church taken from the Greeks after conquest and the Greek genocide and turned into a mosque. The hypocrisy is unbelievable. The vengeance will be the day the world remembers what happened to the Greeks. Greeks never forget. But of course, Sneako is after truth seeking, as he has told us. His channel is about love and about spreading the truth and seeking the truth during this wonderful holy month of Ramadan, where you are not supposed to spike your cortisol level, of course. And this is another post from Sneako that I find really interesting. These are some of the posts that you get from Sneako that make you realize that this guy really don't understand what Islam is about and what he's supposed to believe as a Muslim. He's kind of confused as a Muslim. So he made this post where he said one ummah, and it is a post of, what's the name of this guy now? Louis Farrakhan. The post of Louis Farrakhan from the Nation of Islam. So I guess Sneako saw Louis Farrakhan, maybe did a little Google and had that Louis Farrakhan is a preacher from the Nation of Islam. And he thought, Nation of Islam, I guess this guy is a Muslim. Not knowing that the Nation of Islam is like a heretic group that are not even allowed to visit Mecca. you know.
Prophet Muhammad never said he was Sunni. He gave us the Sunnah. He never said he was Shiite, but through his daughter Fatima, he had Hussein and Hassan. Come on. He never said he was Hanafi, Sufi. That's your stuff. Be what he was. He was a Muslim.
Yeah, that is all the conversation is about. Okay? That is all the conversation is about. This is kind of things you say that you get applaud from people who don't even know what you are talking about. You know, if you are a Sunni, you have different hadiths. You have different sunnah from those who are Shias. Different understanding of who the Prophet was and what he taught and what you are supposed to believe as a Muslim. Okay? So be a Muslim. Okay, what kind of Muslim am I supposed to be? Am I supposed to be Sunni, Shia, or Sufi? Am I supposed to be Nation of Islam Muslim? Be a Muslim is which kind? Which kind? It's so dumb. Be a Muslim. Okay? Muslim according to whose definition? That is the point of contention. It's not like, oh, all of them are just arguing over things that are irrelevant. They are all arguing over what it means to be a Muslim. That is all the conversation is about. You're telling them be a Muslim, and they are all trying to their division or their dispute is about what does it mean to be that thing you just said they should be. What does it mean? Be a Muslim. What does that mean? And Sneaker is like one ummah. Yeah, people pointed out with this hadith, Sunan Ibn Majah 3992. I think if I keep this small, you guys will be able to read along with me. And this is Muhammad. It was narrated by Auf bin Malik that the Messenger of Allah said, the Jews split into 71 sects, one of which will be in paradise and 70 in hell. The Christians split into 72 sects, one of which will be in hell. 71 of which will be in hell and one in paradise. I swear by the one whose hand is the soul of Muhammad, my nation will split into 73 sects, one of which will be in paradise and 72 in hell. Alhamdulillah. Sniko, are you sure the sect you belong to is the sect that will be in paradise, or is it the sect that will be in hell? These are things to think about when you decide to be a Muslim. Moving on, here is another one from Sneak. This is another post from Sneako. So this is after, was it Israel or was it the United States that blew up? I don't know what was blown up again in Iran that led to this massive fire. And then Sneako said, but they told us Trump freed these women so that they can start an OnlyFans to own the libtards. Anyways. Moving on. I have little to respond to this one. Oh yeah, there's another one that I think I find very all right, when I read this, you understand why I'm laughing. Maybe you already see why I'm laughing on the screen. You can already see it, but let me read it. You do not escape the matrix with materialism and a harem of baby mamas. You can only escape the matrix by making it to eternal paradise. Let me read this again. You do not escape the matrix with materialism and a harem of baby mamas. You can only escape the matrix by making it to eternal paradise. Yes, because eternal paradise is materialism, is holy materialism and holy harem of baby mamas. In fact, it's baby mamas that will not have babies, essentially. In fact, it's baby mamas because they are babies and you're going to treat them like baby mamas. It's so perfect. Like, it is holy materialism. You escape the matrix by involving yourself with holy materialism. You become Andrew Tate. You escape the matrix by becoming Andrew Tate. But instead of pimping women on earth, you get to pimp them in Jannah, in paradise. You get to sleep you get to run trains on women sorry, not women, but, you know, prepubescent girls who are stuck in eternal prepubescence. You get to disvirgin them. They are forever virgins. You get to disvirgin them for all of eternity, and that is how you escape the matrix. Alhamdulillah. As somebody said, the whores won't F themselves. No, they won't. Someone has to do it. Someone has to do it. Anyway, moving on. Moving on. I want to finish everything that I have on Sneeko so I can move to... So here is Sneeko getting schooled by the Muslim lantern on Shia Islam, especially the one that is being practiced in Iran.
Khomeini also tweeted saying that we love Aisha, our mother, and he didn't disrespect her. And Khomeini was the spiritual leader of the Shias at the time when he was alive, and even after.
Okay, can I tell you something that is gonna annoy some people? It's gonna annoy some people. But we have to say that yeah. So you know it. And look, the reality is I can't accuse everyone of it though. There are people who are honest about the reality that they don't believe in these things. But if
I don't know why Sneeko is kind of upset or kind of find the answer of Takia with what the Khamenei said about, we respect we respect Aisha, we respect the mother of the faithful. We know it is standard Shia belief to not respect Aisha, to see Aisha as a traitor because she led an army against Ali. Like that is the Sunni Shia divide. So to see a Shia cleric say that about Aisha is most likely Takia. And of course, this is a Shia for that matter. Shias are, like when it comes to the doctrine or the practice of Takia, it is a Shia practice, a Shia doctrine. So yes, it is 100%, or not say 100% Takia. There is nothing wrong in believing that when Khamenei said, we respect Aisha, we respect her as the mother of the faithful, that he was practicing Takia. 100% there is nothing wrong with thinking that. And it is most likely the case because his clerics in Iran, the clerics under him, the imams in Iran, are notorious for cursing Aisha, for raining down curses on her. So how is it that the supreme leader, the highest authority in Iran is saying, you know what? We believe in Aisha. We love Aisha. She's, we respect her. We respect her as the mother of the faithful. And then clerics under him are constantly raining curses on Aisha. The only way to explain this is when he said that he was not serious. Just like when he said, we are not pursuing a nuclear program. All of that is not real. When he released the fatwa saying nuclear weapons is haram, all of that is just takia, to deceive people, which is something that is, standard practice in Shia Islam, especially Shia Islam. Especially Shia Islam.
If we go to the scholarly level, government level, I think it's a different story. I mean, you don't get to be the president of a country where your beliefs are different than the beliefs of its scholars. I mean, that wouldn't make any sense to me. It wouldn't be like something that makes common sense. They would allow those people to be on the manabir, because he was talking about the people, the scholars. He's saying there are scholars, his scholars, the Shia scholars, and he who cares the Aisha. So how are you allowing them when you're the president to do this if it's such a bad thing?
But he did publicly disagree with them. He did publicly disavow that.
Yeah, no. Look, that's why.
Don't you know how a dictatorship works, Sneeko? If Khamenei is opposed to, if he's really opposed to people raining curses on Aisha and calling Aisha a traitor and all whatnot, and having this negative view and teaching this negative view on Aisha, as a dictator that he is, he's not just going to publicly release a statement saying, we recognize that we honor Aisha. He's going to do everything within his power to stop it because he thinks it is un-Islamic. You mean somebody who will go out of his way to put women in jail for showing just 1 inch of hair will not be able to call his clerics to order if he's opposed to what they are doing as the supreme leader?
I'm telling you, nobody knows anyone's heart. But what we know is what's written in the books. If someone says, I don't believe this, I'll take their word for it. I'm not going to say this guy's pretending, this guy's not pretending. Okay, you don't believe it, I appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate you. That's how it should be. Allah says the wives of the Prophet are our mothers. Can you curse your own mother? And you say your mother was this, your mother was that?
What I think, I want to see your interpretation. I think for a lot of people, Shiism is very cultural, right? So that it's common within Iran. So you believe what the people around you believe. So I think a lot of it is misguidance. I'm not saying it's incorrect, but if culturally you grew up around this and people are chest beat, then you're going to follow the people around you. That's the same reason why, Arabic is spoken differently in different countries. So I think once people understand the truth about Tawheed, and if they learn more that the dead can hear, then they understand.
Yeah, the reason why Iranians are Shias is because they are misguided, and it's just a cultural thing. They have no idea what they believe. They need to just be exposed to Sunni Islam. Oh my God, the naivety is outstanding. This one says Sneeko realizes
they will be strict.
Sneeko realizes God was the original JQer after reading a verse from the Quran. Okay.
They will be stricken with disgrace. They will be stricken with disgrace wherever they go, the Jews, unless they are protected by a covenant with a law or a treaty with the people, the U.S. They have.
Treaty with the people is the U.S. Sneeko, there's something here in this thing you are reading. It's called the tafsirs. If you want to understand what is being said, maybe you just click on the tafsirs and read them, and then you understand what the people are.
Invited the displeasure of Allah and have been branded with misery for rejecting Allah's revelations with murdering his prophets unjustly. He's calling the Jews prophet murderers. God. This is a fair reward for the disobedience and violations. So the original JQer is God.
Yeah, it's the Okay, let's see. He said they will be stricken with disgrace wherever they go unless they are protected by a covenant with Allah or a treaty with the people. Okay, a treaty with the people. What verse of the Quran was he reading? I think it's Quran 3. Quran 3 verse. Let's take this.
And with misery for
Quran 3 verse 112, right? Quran 3 verse 112. So let's read Quran 3 verse 112. So let's read Quran 3 verse 112. This is what it says. They have been put under humiliation by Allah wherever they are overtaken, except for a rope that is a covenant from Allah and a rope that is a treaty from the people. And look at Sahih International. What is the people here? A covenant with the people. What is the people here? According to Sahih International, the people is what? The United States. Is it the United States? The people here is what? The Muslims. Let me see so you guys can see this. They have been put under humiliation by Allah wherever they are overtaken, except for a rope that is a covenant from Allah and a rope that is a treaty from the people that is the Muslims. But of course, the people here is the United States because the United States is a Muslim country. This is the wisdom of Sneeko. The wisdom of Sneeko. Anyway, moving on. Sneeko has a professor. It's called Professor Jiang. And he often have this professor on his live stream. So listen to this. Let's listen to this professor and his understanding about Islam.
And so they keep on the fight, even though they've lost the war against the Romans. They will go into the Arabian desert where they will incubate a new religion called Islam.
So according to this professor that Sneeko always have on his platform, Muslims, after they were defeated by the Romans, went to Saudi Arabia, went to Mecca and went to Medina, and then started a new religion known as Islam to fight back the Romans, of course.
And they will prophesy the coming of the Messiah, who will turn out to be Muhammad, right? So at this point in history, the Jews must leave Jerusalem because the Romans basically kicked them out, and their religion will splinter into many different factions. And as we discussed, what will happen is those Jews who are most fanatical, they will escape into the Arabian desert and they will incubate Islam. And eventually, Islam will conquer the world. At this point, they feel as though they've achieved the Messianic age. And they have returned to Jerusalem. Now, the Jews believe that in the Messianic age, the Messiah will come, lead them to victory, bring all the Jews back to Jerusalem, and build the third temple and usher in the Messianic age. Okay, and that's what they believe happened. And so this is the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem, and this is meant to be the third temple. Over time,
this guy is mad. This professor is mad. So the mosque on the the mosque that was built on the ruin of the temple. That mosque is the third temple. My goodness. Whatever weed that they are selling in China, this can you imagine?
What happened is they would change it to become a center of Islamic worship. But in the beginning, it was really the third temple.
Yeah. Somebody called it made in China CCP crap. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And this is the professor from China. Wow. Anyways, moving on. So Sneako's new conspiracy theory is that Jared Kushner, the son-in-law of President Trump, is the new Jeffrey Epstein. And somebody said coward. Sneako, was it, of course, Sneako blocking Nick Matau after the debate. And then somebody said, in response to this, posted this clip from Sneako.
Age of consent should be maturity. It's not even 18 in most states.
So let's take this back so we can listen to Sneako talking about age of consent.
Age of consent should be maturity. It's not even 18 in most states. Why do you even believe that? It's because in Hollywood, it's 18, so that gets pushed everywhere.
Yes, the reason why we believe in the age of consent to be 18 is because of Hollywood. Why do people think like this? Yes, Hollywood is most of the states that have age of consent laws. Or, the law that you have in your country. Yes, that's Hollywood. Laws, Hollywood.
Place is 16. And if you question that, then they call you a pedo. I believe the age of consent is the age of maturity. It should be called the age of marriage. Age of consent implies that you're going to have out of wedlock. I think it's better that people get married at 16, 17 than to have a bunch of premarital until they're 30 and they're washed up and then they get jaded and they're on birth control and they have dried up eggs. I think that's better for society. Age of consent.
But of course, Jeffrey Epstein was a disgusting person. But marrying at 16, 15, 16, 17, that's perfect. But, Jeffrey Epstein, bad guy. Very bad guy. And then I convert to a religion where you can marry as young as 9. Alhamdulillah. I even believe that is also good for society. I am very good friends, with Daniel Hakikachu, who believes that even if they are 5 years old, you can marry them and have sex with them because it's good for society. Alhamdulillah, it is very good for society. But of course, the new Jeffrey Epstein is Jared Kushner, of course. It is Jared Kushner. Oh. And here is more from the Sneako, who has finally found out who Jeffrey Epstein truly is. I think we've seen this one. Here is another one from Sneako. Here's another one from Sneako. Give this a moment to load. This is somebody responding to Sneako saying Jared Kushner is the new Jeffrey Epstein. And then he responded saying Sneako has always been a Jeffrey Epstein. And let's look at this clip.
Actually, we would make a great double date. I like you on the left, and I think Zerka likes the girl on the right.
They're both on the left. What up, girls? I want to kiss you guys.
How old are you?
Oh, I got that white bitch smiling. Let's go.
Stop. How old are you guys?
Underage. Well, you just yeah.
Like how underage though? Like your birthday's next week type shit?
Like we can't go to Starbucks, white bitch?
And I will be turning 15 in a month.
Change my state of mind.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Love so hard to find.
we got him.
Oh wow!
Actually, we would make a great double date. I like you on the left.
But of course, Jared Kushner is the true Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah. I find it interesting, the Muslim obsession with the issue with Jeffrey Epstein. I really find it interesting because these people should not have an issue with Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein, if he was a Muslim, would be a prophet. You know, if Jeffrey Epstein existed like during the Ottoman Empire, he would be one of those people who have multiple concubines, which was common during the Ottoman Empire, where sultans will have countless number of concubines, 30, 40, 50, 80. You know, we'll have so many of them, you know. But of course, Jeffrey Epstein is the real problem. Is the real sexual deviant, Jeffrey Epstein, of course. Now we are going to move to something that I find really interesting. And this has to do with Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan and Ben Shapiro. So I think Ben Shapiro at one point said Piers Morgan's show is the Jerry Springer show of politics, where he just brings so many people together so that they can come together and just, you know, engage in this annoying, he just bring them together so that they can fight each other, and that is how he kind of get views and all whatnot. And then he pretends that the difference between him and Jerry Springer is that Jerry Springer at least recognizes that is exactly what he wants to do. That is why he brings those guests together. But you know, Piers Morgan pretends like that is not what he wants. He really brought people together so they can have a very civil discussion. You know, he doesn't like it when his show descend into this, you know, this circus where people are just fighting each other. That is not his intention. You know. So Ben Shapiro, I think we've seen this in previous live streams. So Ben Shapiro has essentially decided that he's not going to associate him. Not just like, he didn't say it publicly. He just, according to Piers Morgan, Ben Shapiro has not been, you know, responding to his texts or picking his calls, you know, and has never shown any interest in coming up on his show. He said that before, Ben Shapiro used to reply him, call him every once in a while, and was a regular guest on his show. But recently, after he came out, or whatever he said about Israel, that Ben Shapiro has decided not to be on his show again. And he really seems butthurt by that and cannot stop talking about it. Meanwhile, Ben Shapiro is not even like acting like he recognizes the existence of Piers Morgan, which makes the whole thing very pathetic, right? It makes the whole thing from Piers Morgan look like very pathetic. Piers Morgan is that guy that really cannot take rejection. Really cannot take it. It is really unfortunate to see a grown man that behaves like a child. So he you know, so he said about Ben Shapiro, I am a journalist, you are a propagandist. Yeah, breaking. Piers Morgan has responded to Ben Shapiro. Okay, so let's see. Let's watch the response. It's an 11-minute response.
Ben Shapiro is undoubtedly an intelligent and influential commentator.
Something that you can never be.
I've always liked and respected him, even when we disagree. I still do.
I mean, as a 19-year-old, Ben Shapiro humiliated you on national TV, on CNN, as a 19-year-old. That's to tell you how intelligent Ben Shapiro is compared to Piers Morgan. As a 19-year-old, humiliated him on the Second Amendment. Or was it the First Amendment? Second Amendment, sorry. On the Second Amendment.
stridently partisan and staunchly conservative, of course, but he's willing to criticize Trump and others in the administration when he thinks they've got it wrong. Well, one thing he doesn't criticize, however, is Israel, and he routinely gets very upset when other people do. It's such a blind spot for Ben that through the red mist of his rage, he sees an alternate reality where anybody who disagrees with him is a demonic, America-hating terror apologist who can only possibly be doing it for ratings.
Who has he ever said this? Who has Ben Shapiro ever called that thing that Piers Morgan just said? I watched Ben Shapiro a lot. I've never seen him say any person is demonic or any person who does not agree with him on Israel hates America and the person is a demonic person. No. He has called that Megyn Kelly specifically because of her refusal to call out Candace Owens. That is what Ben Shapiro's disagreement with Megyn Kelly has been about. It has never been about Israel. It is Megyn Kelly that keeps saying that it is about Israel, but it is not about Israel. It has never been about Israel. If that was the case, then if it has been about Israel, then Ben Shapiro will be against a lot of people. Ben Shapiro does not think Matt Walsh is a demonic person, and Matt Walsh have had takes where he's kind of opposed to certain activities by Israel or being done for Israel that the United States is doing for Israel or doing in collaboration with Israel. Yet he has not said Matt Walsh is a despicable person. I mean, you've had people even defend Candace Owens or at least defend silence on the wickedness that Candace Owens is doing. And Ben Shapiro has not said anything about them. Some of them he's part of his organization, like Michael Knowles, whose cowardice is something to see. Right? But this has never been, when it has to do with Megyn Kelly, it has never been about Israel. When it has to do with Tucker Carlson, it's not necessarily Tucker Carlson's criticism about Israel. It's that Tucker Carlson is lying. This is one thing I don't understand. Somebody is blatantly just lying. And then people say, oh, the person is just being critical of Israel. No, that is not the person being critical of Israel. If I say Benjamin Netanyahu is drinking the blood of Christians, and you say, and somebody's like, oh, that is despicable. How will you spread such a very despicable demonic lie? Then the response is, we are not allowed to criticize Israel. We are not allowed to... Is that what you call criticizing Israel? Is that what you call criticizing Israel? Just manufacturing lies. It is possible to criticize Israel without being anti-Semitic. But people who criticize Israel, so-called, are showing or are trying to make it look like it is impossible to criticize Israel without being anti-Semitic, because those people are anti-Semitic. Because their criticism is just filled with lies. Filled with lies. Their so-called criticism. Go and watch these people talk. Every word that comes out of their mouth is lies upon lies upon lies upon lies. My problem with someone like Piers Morgan is that he platformed liars and allowed them to spew their meaningless, stupid lies, and doesn't learn anything. Piers Morgan does not. Piers Morgan is somebody who has a malignant case of stupidity that is malignant, stupidity that is adamant, that has refused to no amount, it is impervious to any form of information, any form of cure for stupidity will hit Piers Morgan and not have any effect. It's like he has immunity against anything that will cure him of stupidity. Piers Morgan will have experts on Israel come on his show and talk. He will have this gay man, what is his name? Douglas Murray. He will have Douglas Murray on his show. He will have people on his show. This is the difference between Piers Morgan and somebody like Konstantin Kisin. Nobody has criticized Konstantin Kisin. I will say, I will never be on your show. Why? Konstantin Kisin is somebody who does interviews to learn. He's not just running a show. He's learning. He's listening. He's gathering this information, and every information he's gathering is shaping his opinion. He's not just running a show for people and putting on a fun fair. It looks like for Piers Morgan, he's just running this circus and bringing people in, and nothing they say affects him. Nothing that is said is kind of, oh, I'm going to take this information and think about it. Oh, I'm going to take that information and think about it. He just remains in this perpetual state of constant stupidity. and then brings up people and pretend like he's trying to have a fair show where everybody is going to get criticized equally. And then sometimes he's going to bring on Dave Smith. And then he and Dave Smith will be, he will call it a debate. Dave Smith on one side and then somebody who is pro-Israel on the other side. And halfway through the show, you can already see that he's on the side of Dave Smith against the other person. It's going to be a 2-on-1. Piers Morgan being on the side of Dave Smith. And then he's going to say, I'm neutral, I'm giving fair criticism. No, everybody can see the circles that you are running in the name of a show. That's why so many people have said, you know what, I'm not coming up on your show again. And you're upset by it. And then you claim that people who are criticizing you are like saying that you are demonic or saying that these people cannot take criticism of Israel. No, it's not that. And here is another funny thing that I find about this so-called, they cannot take criticism of Israel. Piers Morgan, I want to ask you, so you believe that you are going to criticize Israel, and those who do not agree with you are supposed to do what? So let's say you give out your criticism, and I do not agree with your criticism. What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? Piers, you block people on Twitter. You block people on Twitter more than David Hundeyi from Nigeria. You block people on Twitter. Does that show that you are not able to take criticism? Why, if Ben ignoring you is Ben not being able to take criticism about Israel, what is you blocking people on? You just recently blocked Dave Rubin on Twitter. You just blocked him. Is that not you not being able to take criticism? How many people have you blocked? But just because Ben Shapiro will not appear on your show, and he called your show the Jerry Springer show, and then will not respond to your text message, he cannot take criticism about Israel. And then you who go ahead blocking people who you don't agree with, what does that say about you? What a shameless old man. It is one of the things that I say about old men like this, people who don't act their age, is that being advanced in age does not make you wise at the end of the day. The people are advanced in age, and the older they get, the dumber they become.
And it was brought to my attention that he was very upset about a debate last week featuring Dave Smith.
So last night on Piers Morgan, which is the Jerry Springer of political television, where people gather to throw chairs at one another and determine paternity. Piers Morgan, who has sort of made a mockery of the entire industry by putting on screen whatever dregs are still willing to go on screen with Piers Morgan. He had on Dave Smith, who has, apparently his job is never to tell jokes, but to instead give poorly informed foreign policy takes, and also to hate America. Here we go.
Oh, why didn't you play what? Why did you play what Dave Smith said so that we can see exactly what the criticism is? Because Dave Smith said that America is a terrorist state. That is what Dave Smith said. Dave Smith was not just criticizing Israel. If you say America is like the American government is a terrorist organization, you hate America. You should get rid of the flag behind you. That is what was even said on your show. Oh, that is criticism. Of course, this is what passes for criticism these days. America is a terrorist state. That is criticism of Israel, of course.
Well, first, Jerry Springer was a very good friend of mine, and he was a beloved national treasure who actually hosted one of the most successful shows in television history and became a media mogul worth hundreds of millions of dollars. So,
yeah, and that is the same. You are following his trajectory by turning political commentary into drama farming. You call it drama television. You just have people fighting and shouting at each other. That is what it has become for you.
Thank you for that comparison, Ben. Second, we proudly host lively debates on things that people...
Lively debates, okay. That is what he's calling it. We host lively debate. No, you host shouting matches. That's what your show have become famous for. It is painful and pathetic to watch. The only people who watch this are people who like drama. That is what you've turned political commentary to. Ben Shapiro is accurate. You've made a mockery of the whole thing. You've made a mockery of the whole thing. Your show is a mockery of what political commentary is supposed to be. It's like a parody of political commentary. That is what your show has become. It's like SNL skits, not funny.
Care about, featuring guests that people care about, to cover both sides of complex news stories in an engaging way. Do the debates sometimes get a bit combative? Yes. Do audiences tend to enjoy a bit of theatrical rough and tumble? Of course they do. That's why
that is what your whole show is about. That's of course they do. Yes, and that's what you are seeking for. That is what keeps the show going. If you don't do all this drama, nobody will be interested in your show, and you know it, because you have nothing of meaning to offer. Sometimes you even seek to stir the drama. You do that constantly.
Wire, Ben's company, has an entire political debate show which is literally called Bar Fight. That's why Ben's own show features hard-hitting segments including Ben Shapiro destroys celebrity ice reactions. Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, that is more content worthy and very valuable than whatever nonsense you do. The Bar Fight that Michael Knowles hosts is more. It's like, see, the problem is not the drama aspect of it. It is still the drama aspect of it. The problem is that you offer no value. Like they finish watching your show and there is no value that has been created or offered. Okay? When Ben is doing reacts, that is not all his content is about. But for you, that is all it is that your content has become. Don't you understand? Of course. Perpetual stupidity is what this guy is suffering for. Malignant stupidity.
Shapiro destroys the Golden Globes. Ben Shapiro reacts to woke TikToks. Ben Shapiro reacts to woke socialist TikToks. Ben Shapiro reacts to woke religious TikToks. And when it comes to humiliating the industry...
What is the problem with any of that? You should watch them. Maybe you will learn how to do a better show. Maybe you will learn something about hosting a good show. Maybe you should watch some of those. You will learn something, I'm telling you.
Please tell me why the Pulitzer Prize Committee did not reward Mr. Shapiro for this masterpiece.
What the Run.
It was funny, okay? I know you don't have a sense of humor, but it was funny, okay? When he did that, it was funny. And it was intended to be funny, okay? It was intended to be funny. And that is how you do a fantastic show. That is how you do a fantastic show. Maybe you should try it sometime. Instead of bringing people together and doing shouting matches over serious issues. Serious issues. You bring morons together to talk about it.
You could say that makes a mockery of the industry. Third, I want to examine the charge that I've committed a sin against journalism by hosting what Ben Shapiro describes as whatever dregs are still willing to appear on my show. Well, on the subject of Iran and US foreign policy specifically, recent guests have included Masih Alinejad, Lisa Daftari, Patrick Bet-David, Carla Sands, Rob O'Neill, Goldie Gamari, Jonathan Conricus, Alan Dershowitz, Alika Lebon, Ambassador John Bolton, General Wesley Clark, General Mark Kimmett, a former UN prosecutor accusing Iran of mass murder, Ambassador Mike Huckabee, former Vice President Mike Pence, Eric Weinstein, Josh Hammer, former Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett, and the IDF spokesman Nadav Shoshani. Now, it's unlikely that Ben is talking about any of these people because they are either vehemently pro-Israel or to some extent they are supportive of attacking Iran to destroy it.
That is not the point. See, maybe you should also learn how to understand words that people are saying. You see, Piers Morgan, that is not the point. The point is not the guests that you have on your show. It's how your show is structured. It's how your show is structured. It is also the guest. The guest is also an issue, but it's not just the guest, but how your show is structured. Your show is structured to be a shouting match where people shout over each other. And you facilitate it. It's not even accidental. Don't pretend like, we are not aiming for this crap show, this circus. No, you are the clown of this circus show. And you bring other clowns with you. And then you put on this joke of a show where people get to shout at each other, and you know it is going to lead to that, and you want it to lead to that because it is good for it's good for clicks. You cannot say ratings because I'm not sure you're actually on TV, you're on YouTube. That is what all of this is about, and that is the criticism. Many people have recognized that about your show, and that's why some people will never appear on it, because they don't want to be part of that nonsense.
Regime. It's also unlikely he's talking about, say, Michael Knowles or Isabel Brown, who make very valuable contributions to the show on a regular basis and do, of course, work alongside Ben Shapiro at the Daily Wire. So what is he really talking about? Well, we know he doesn't like Dave Smith and flat out refuses to debate him, which strikes me as pretty cowardly. You can make up your own minds about why he refuses. And what
then do we have to say about all the people that you block? What then do we have to say about the fact that you can't have AP on your show? You can't have the apostate prophet on your show. What about that? What do we say about that? What does that make you, Piers Morgan?
Really takes issue with is that among the many guests supporting his worldview, and specifically supporting Israel, we also invite many people who don't support his worldview.
You see the stupidity of the whole thing that is being done here. Ben Shapiro did not, in criticizing Piers Morgan, Ben Shapiro did not say anything about Israel. Do you notice it? It's the same thing that he's doing, the same thing that Megyn Kelly is doing. In criticizing Megyn Kelly, Ben Shapiro did not say anything about Israel. In criticizing Piers Morgan, Ben Shapiro did not say anything about Israel. But in their response, they just make it about Israel. You know why? Because they don't have any. Yes, they don't have any response. They don't have any good response, so they have to make it about Israel. Ben Shapiro has not said anything about in what you played. Where did he mention Israel? You are the one making it about Israel. You are the one creating this. Oh, this is what this is all about.
And don't support the Israeli government.
Take Piers Morgan, of course, suggesting the only reason that I was not appearing on his show anymore was his criticism of Israel, which is weird because I appeared on his show for literally months after October 7th, even though he was already critical of Israel. And I really haven't said anything on Piers or about Piers or to Piers for probably a year. I just stopped appearing on his show. Why? Well, honestly, he kept bringing on actual Nazis and the Nazi adjacent and then treated them all too often as voices worthy of a large audience. Like, for example, these people.
I believe that Jewish supremacy is the greatest threat to America, and I think it's the greatest threat to the world.
Yes, and that is what Piers Morgan, this right here, this is what Piers Morgan calls criticism of Israel. This is what he calls criticism of Israel. There's no Tom, Dick, and Harry, no riffraff on the street that Piers Morgan will not bring on his show and say, yeah, tell us something, tell us, yeah. And then he will see how he put his face like he's listening to the voice of an angel.
Today, I truly believe that.
You think Hitler was very cool?
This is
yes.
Voice of reason, criticism of Israel. That right there. Yep, there you have it.
I do.
One of them,
and I'm tired of pretending he's not.
It's going to be the headlines tomorrow.
Yeah,
Piers Morgan.
Yeah, but oh my God.
Israel is ISIS.
Only amongst people who weren't listening.
That's how I feel about those young men in Gaza. You ask me why I won't condemn them. Because those young men were born into a concentration camp.
Yeah.
You don't think they have?
Yeah, those young men. By young men, Ficoste will not condemn. He's talking about Hamas fighters, people who went into Israel and committed one of the most, disastrous, not disastrous, I mean the most horrific crime against humanity. Yeah, he will not condemn them because they were living in a concentration camp. Because living in a concentration camp is justification for, turning out to become a monster.
It's been a terrorist state. Okay, Israel right now is imparting a genocide and a...
What is my criticism of Israel? Israel is a terrorist state. All right.
Holocaust on the Gaza.
Israel is committing a genocide and a Holocaust. That is criticism of Israel, ladies. That's what we call criticism of Israel.
People.
Listen, it's Piers' choice who he decides to have on his show and how he decides to conduct the kind of clown car battle royale that he does on a show every night. And it's my choice not to join that circus. We all make our choice.
Of course. He chose not to become part of it. This whole conversation, I want you guys to keep in mind that this whole conversation will not be going on if Piers Morgan did not bring it up. Piers Morgan, who is the one who is making a fuss about the fact that Ben Shapiro does not want to appear on his show. Like Ben Shapiro owe it to, like he must, he has to. It is his obligation to Piers to appear on his show. How dare Ben not appear on my show?
And we all live with them, but some of us make our choices based on, actual principles and not the clicks.
Well, the last time Ben Shapiro appeared on Uncensored to discuss Israel's war on Hamas specifically was in March 2024, at which time I was being accused on a daily basis of being a paid-up Israeli shill. He lacks the self-awareness to realise that many pro-Palestine...
Speaking of someone who lacks self-awareness, Piers, look in the mirror. Look in the mirror, Piers. Look in the mirror.
And contributors got very angry with our show for hosting so-called genocide enablers like him. That's exactly why
please, from the very beginning of the war, I remember you had Mohammed Hijab on your show more than once. What is this guy talking about? What are you talking about? From the very start, you exploit. See, fair enough, do whatever you want to do. Run your show however you want to run it. But you exploit conflict. You don't even try to give perspective or anything or understanding. You exploit conflict for drama. That is what you do. The people who we are criticizing you unfairly. The criticism they should have against you is that you have no principle. You have none. And you are not running a principled show. You bring, like I said, you will bring any person from off the streets. You had Mohammed Hijab, the thug of London, on your show, talking about how the death rate between civilian and soldiers is 100 to 1.
Not partisan and don't want to be. There is more than one view on any emotive or consequential subject. You can't possibly know you are right if you don't know what the other side thinks. That's precisely why free speech exists as a principle we all defend. And when it comes to principles, as Mr. Shapiro puts it, I'd remind him that I've left several high-profile jobs over my principles. Principles like my views on gun control and my belief that criticizing a princess is an essential right.
Yeah, your tabloid history. Continue.
I give my opinions about everything based on the information I have at the time. And
or the lack of information that you have, but continue.
I change my views when facts change.
You don't change your views. You really change. Yes, sometimes you do, especially when it has to do with COVID. But in most things, you don't change your views. You're just a ridiculous human being. You still believe that Islam is defined by the barista who makes the Muslim barista who makes coffee for you, or the cab driver who drove you to your studio. You still think that is what defines Islam, despite the overwhelming evidence and the plethora of people who have come to try to make you understand it. But your head is a basket. Nothing is retained inside. You're talking about views. The problem is not even that you have views. You don't have views. For you to have views, you have to not be blind. The people that have eyesight, that can see, that have views, not people who are blind. It's people who can see that talk about views.
Some people might find that highly irritating, but it's because I'm not an ideologue, and I never will.
No, what people find irritating is your stupidity. You just don't
be. Ben Shapiro calls our debate a clown show circus, and that's fine.
That is not a debate. I've watched so many debates. Okay, I mean, we have the internet. We've seen so many debates. We've watched so many. We know modern debates. Nobody has called modern debates a clown show because that's an actual debate. If you want to become a debate host, you want to actually host debates, then host debates. Not this nonsense that you do. That is not debate. That is a shouting match. You don't even as a moderator of a debate, you don't moderate it well. People get to shout over you. They take over your own show. Halfway through, you yourself begin to look confused. Like you don't even know what is going on. And you call that a debate, like we are just hosting debate. You know, it can get very spicy. No. This is a clown show. It is what it is. Accept it.
He's perfectly entitled to his opinion. Many people do choose to watch Uncensored, including clearly Ben Shapiro. It's ironic that the clips he showed were not from our so-called battle royale debates, but from long-form one-on-one interviews, which we do a lot of the time. And it's outrageously disingenuous that the clips he showed did not include the parts of those interviews where I called out every single one of them about things I didn't agree with. His montage of the same interviews could have looked like this. You sound like a Nazi.
I mean, why do you say that?
That's literally what Nazis would have said in World War II. You think if half your family had been wiped...
Oh, please, when it has to do... Oh, please, Ben. I say Ben. Piers. Piers, you see, the ability to feel, embarrassment, shame, is something you don't have, Piers. It's like a skill that you don't have. Of all your proud... Is this one of your proud moments, Piers? Your interview with Nick Fuentes. Is that one of the moments that you are proud of? Piers. Piers, Nick Fuentes made you look stupid. Andrew Tate comes on your show and makes you look stupid. Stupid people come on your show and then you look like there are two people on screen. There is a notorious stupid person, and then there is you. And that notoriously stupid person makes you look more stupid. That is a huge feat, and you achieve it every time you bring stupid people on your show. Every time. They end up looking less stupid. They become the voice of reason, and you become the voice of an idiot. Oh my goodness.
Out by very fucking cool Hitler, you'd still think he was very fucking cool? Or would you think that actually he was a despicable monster who murdered 12 million people? The comparison, which is more apposite, is ISIS and Hamas. They are both nihilistic terror groups intent on killing as many Jewish people and others as they can.
If you had any sense and understanding of your abilities, Piers, you will know that there are places, people always say, if I run a show, I can interview any person. I have no problem with interviewing any person. I can interview any person. But if you are somebody who is aware of your own abilities and you realize, if I interview, for example, if Konstantin Kisin is to interview, he says he wants to do an interview with Nick Fuentes, for example, I will not have a problem with it. Because I know that he's not going to have Nick Fuentes on, and then Nick Fuentes is going to come out of that interview looking like a smart person, he looking like a great guy, and the general public is going to watch that and be like, "Wow, we really enjoyed that. That is wonderful. Yeah, maybe I should listen to more of Nick Fuentes." But Nick Fuentes appears on your show, and his appeal to the public increases. All of a sudden, people are like, "Wow, let me check out this guy. This guy looks like a guy that I should listen to." At least he looks like he's way smarter than Piers Morgan. One of the responsibilities of freedom of speech is to realize that you should just, we have the freedom of speech and we also have the right to remain silent. Okay? The two of them go hand in hand. Because one of the things about speech is that you have to recognize that you need to have the freedom to keep quiet. And the wisdom. You see, the freedom of speech requires the wisdom to keep quiet. To know, at this point, I should shut up. At this point, I should not be involved in this conversation. This should not be my issue. It is not freedom. It is not anti-freedom of speech to advise somebody to keep quiet. It's not anti-freedom of speech to say to somebody, I think you should keep quiet. It's a good advice. Even the scripture said, a fool, a very foolish person, when he keeps quiet, they will think that he is wise. I guess you will say the Bible is not for free speech, right? Because the Bible is advising people, maybe you should keep quiet.
Possibly kill. That's not true.
As the numbers, okay.
It's just not true.
Piers.
Well, Professor, with respect.
Okay, I'm not going to.
It's not true.
Piers. Yeah, but you have to listen to what I say.
But you want me to believe you when you say you weren't aware of the scale of this for several days. I find that I'm incredulous that you want me to believe that.
This country, which was formed in 1948 by pretending to be refugees, if you will, and being invited into the homes of Palestinians, the horrific story
They weren't
of what happened.
pretending to be refugees. They were people fleeing.
You think if you are giving these people a hard time, Piers, if you are a debate, let me not say debater, if you are a journalist who, whenever people bring up lies in front of your show, you refute them and expose them to be the frauds that they actually are. Do you think those fraudulent people will still want to come on your show? Do you know that there are places that if there are platforms that if they invite Nick Fuentes, he will not appear on that platform? Do you know there are people Nick Fuentes will not dare to debate or even dare to appear on their channel? Do you know why? Because he knows that if he goes on that place, they would expose him. The reason why people like Nick Fuentes come on your show and then people use free speech, because he knows that people like you are people that he's going to make look stupid.
A Holocaust. You can take the view, as many do, that interviewing people with extreme opinions is pointless. You can stick your head in the sand like an ostrich or hide behind your very big desk and wish they didn't have an audience, but they do. My view is that they already speak unfiltered to large audiences, and whether you like it or not, at least on my show, these audiences get to see them being challenged.
Yeah, yes, after we watch them on your show, you're like, oh, look at Piers Morgan, he's challenging this person. Wow, that is powerful stuff. Yeah, have you ever read a comment on on any of your video on YouTube and you see one of the commenters saying, oh, I like how Piers Morgan just exposed this person for the fraud that the person is? Have you ever had one comment like that? Or this person just exposed? Even when you interviewed Andrew Tate, your first interview with Andrew Tate, I remember that people in the comment section were roasting you. You were the one getting roasted. You, Piers Morgan. Every show that you do is like a humiliation ritual.
Ben Shapiro used to make a mockery of deplatforming when the person being deplatformed was Ben Shapiro, usually by shrieking protesters.
Oh my goodness, here we go again about deplatforming. Everybody now, like people, journalistic integrity is thrown out of the window in the name of not being censorial. Oh, we are not censoring anybody. That's why we have no journalistic integrity. We have no journalistic integrity because we don't want to censor anybody. So the desire not to censor anybody has made it that you don't have standards, you don't have principles, you don't have values. And the reason why you don't have that is because, you are free for all. You accept everybody. As if having a platform or having an audience does not put on you a form of responsibility. No, I am irresponsible because I believe in free speech, of course.
On woke campuses, but his uncompromising views on Israel and America's military and political support for Israel.
So not allowing somebody to come on a campus to speak to students who organize the program in that campus and want him on that campus because they want to listen to him. Not wanting that speaker to step into that campus, even though there are people within that campus, students that invited him and have gathered themselves together in a room and want him to speak to them in that campus. And then you have people, protesting that speaker and saying this speaker will not come into this campus. And then you have schools say, you know what, we will not allow this speaker on our campus. This speaker should be kicked out. That is the same with a guest on Piers Morgan's show. Fantastic stuff.
Have turned him into a cancel culture vulture with the very same sneering intolerance he used to loathe. If you disagree with him, you're a Nazi, he says.
But you called people on your show Nazis because you disagreed with them. You just showed us clips of that. You called them Nazis, didn't you? Didn't you just show us a clip of you yourself calling people Nazis? But if Ben Shapiro calls them Nazis, he's wrong.
Channeling Kamala Harris. Everybody knows my position on Israel. I vehemently defended Israel's right to respond and defend itself after October the 7th. I became increasingly critical of Israel because its government's actions in Gaza became impossible to defend. We don't need to relitigate all of that now. But as Dave Smith correctly points out, it's not just me. Polling shows the American people have turned against Israel and its government in particular for precisely the same reasons. If Ben listened to some of the arguments instead of just throwing tantrums about them, he might...
Who is the projection on this video, the projection on display. The projection on display is outstanding. It is outstanding. Like, you are the one making an 11-minute video. You are the one who, when Jeremy Boring was on your show, you were the one who was talking about it. You are the one who have been on X tweeting about it. But it's Ben Shapiro that is throwing a tantrum. It is Ben who twice in his show, in passing, talked about your show and then moved on and hasn't spoken about you and hasn't spoken about you for a while now. He just spoke about you twice in passing. And one of the times he spoke about you is because you spoke about him. That he's the one who is throwing a tantrum, not you. Fantastic stuff. Of course, it's about Israel.
Understand why. Just as I continue to host people who defend Israel's conduct in Gaza when many people wish I wouldn't and say I shouldn't, Ben Shapiro does. He, of course, has my phone number and my email address. He could have discussed his differences with me in private, which I would have preferred. But he hasn't bothered to even politely reply to my occasional messages for a very long time now.
Oh, no. Ben is ghosting me. Oh, my God. Ben is ghosting me. He will not respond to my text messages. But he's also the one who is throwing a tantrum. Oh.
Since the very moment I started criticizing the Israeli government. And he chooses to get on his own podcast and throw pathetic pot shots at me instead. So let me use my platform to respond.
Oh, my goodness. What is that your name again? P.S. Morgan. P.S. Morgan. Ben Shapiro is living rent-free in your head. Rent-free. He has beachfront property in your head.
On directly. The difference between me and you, Ben, is that I'm heavily criticized by both sides because I listen to both sides.
Oh, you believe that both sides don't criticize Ben Shapiro? Like, there is this thing that people do, like journalists and whatever. I saw a joke. There was a joke by this, I think it's an Italian comedian. He said he was making fun of the BBC. And BBC was like, this group of people hate us. This group of people hate us. This group of people hate us. Every group of people hate us. That means we are doing something right. And then the comedian said, that do you know who else said the same thing? And, you know, the crowd is like, who else? And he said, Benito Mussolini. That everybody is criticizing you does not mean you are neutral. That everyone is criticizing you does not mean you are neutral. That is not the sign that you are in the middle. And being neutral is not always a good thing.
And very often I criticize both sides too, without fear or favor. You're only criticized by one side because you choose to air only one side and you choose to ignore or even silence the other. I'm a journalist. You are a propagandist.
If you are a journalist, then the state of journalism in the world is... Anyway, you are by modern standards, because the modern standard for journalism is in shambles. You are a journalist because, you know, the great journalists are dead. That is why you are a journalist. Because journalism is dead. That is why you are a journalist. In a perfect world, you will be jobless.
Oh, and facts don't care about your feelings.
He says the guy who just spent 11 minutes airing out his feelings. So yeah, that is from P.S. Morgan. That is Piers Morgan, this is what some people said. You literally got fired for knowingly publishing fake videos that are currently getting sued for defaming a barrister and then doubling down on it, all because you thought it prudent to side with comic Dave Smith as you both push a provable lie. Then somebody said, Piers will be remembered forever as one of the super spreaders of anti-Zionist label and Jew hatred in the wake of October 7 genocide and post-October 7 anti-Zionist hate movement. You have the dumb Oga, Jenk on your show more than anyone else. Yes, you are the political Jeffrey Springer show. Yes. Somebody said, America does not give an F what the Brits think of us since 1776. Then another person said, dude, you are put for hot click and rage baiting, which is journalism, but just not good journalism. You are the Jerry Springer of online entertainment news. Yes, I don't really care. You do you, but don't get all self-righteous here. That is the thing. That is the truth. You do journalism, but you're not a good journalist. Like I said, you're a journalist because good journalists are dead. Somebody said, OMG, the Alex Jones of British media thinks he's a journalist. I guess having a bunch of retarded clowns on your screen at each other. Okay, sorry. I guess having a bunch of retarded clowns on. Okay, sorry. I guess having a bunch of retarded clowns on to scream at each other makes him one. Maybe it was all the years he worked for the British tabloids. Either way, a real journalist wouldn't betray the British people for Muslims who raped their kids. You've always failed to measure up to Ben. As an editor, as a thinker, as a media personality, you can't hold a candle to him. 100% true. Sorry, this is how your propaganda job is going. You can't be a journalist since all you do is boost conspiracy theorists and Jew haters. Another person said, Ben Shapiro is to be commended for publicly defending Charlie Cox's wife against attacks from Candace Owens. Why someone like Piers Morgan will platform any person who wants to bash the grieving widow and be like, well, I am all for free speech. Okay, I'm not here to censor anybody. As if, when newspapers and media houses have editors, chief editors, that chief editor position is for what exactly? Somebody said, wow, over 10 minutes of a response. It's not the viewpoint, it's the people. If you didn't platform crap people who have those viewpoints, then maybe it would be different. Also, measuring journalistic success by comparison to Springer for his massive views and audience and media empire is exactly the point you missed, you bloated dingus. P.S. Ben has been 100% consistent in his view, whereas you are the most flippy floppy grifter on the planet. He's not even he's not even flip-flopping. He's just any Tom, Dick, and Harry, any Johnson and Benedict can come on his show and say whatever they have to say. And they all end up making him look stupid. That is the annoying part. His show is just for legitimizing every ridiculous view out there. And it's not because he's not even intentionally trying to legitimize them. It's just that he's so moronic that he's destined to legitimize them. Even when he tries not to, he fails. And he still doesn't learn that maybe I am failing at this. Maybe I'm not really good at this. And I should stop doing this. And just restrict myself to people who I can interview. Be like Tucker Carlson. There's one thing that Tucker Carlson knows how to do best. He knows that there are people who he's going to have on his show that are going to make him look stupid. Okay, so he doesn't have those people on. Because he knows that they are going to make him look stupid. Somebody said, you're not a journalist, you're a talk show host. Jerry Springer was more of a journalist than you. So you can see that even in his comments, people are not. So I say, when Piers, when he hears Ben, mention his name. Anyways, and you can see that Piers Morgan is really proud of his response. And he said, sorry, Ben Shapiro, but facts about Israel's government don't care about your partisan feelings. Piers Morgan, the problem is that you don't even know what facts are. What fact about the Israeli government is being shared on your show? What fact? You know. And then people are still say, imagine platforming the most bottom of the barrel voices in politics and calling someone else a propagandist. And of course, you have people like Megyn Kelly, say, in which Piers Morgan responded to Ben Shapiro's attack on him, noting Ben has turned into the same cancel culture vulture, spitting, sneering intolerance that Kamala Harris is, and all over Ben's favorite and most important views, how supportive one is of Israel. I don't even know what she's trying to say, but okay. And here she is talking about Ben Shapiro being a cancel culture vulture who is spitting, sneering intolerance that Kamala Harris is. I don't even understand this. Listen, that Ben has turned into the same cancel culture vulture, spitting, sneering intolerance that Kamala Harris is. Noting Ben has turned into the same cancel culture vulture, spitting, sneering intolerance that Kamala Harris is. I mean, all over Ben's favorite and most important issue, how supportive one is of Israel. And then some people responded to what's her name? Megyn Kelly. Can you please specifically name how Ben Shapiro is a cancel culture vulture? If he doesn't want to go on Pierce's show, that's cancel culture. Really, Megyn, this is the best attack line you have on Ben? That is what I find interesting. Ben has not said people should not watch Piers Morgan, even though he doesn't understand why people will watch that. You know, it's like somebody saying Ben is cancel culture because Ben once said that rap music is not music. Ben thinks Pierce's show is low quality, therefore he's cancel culture. Ben thinks that the guests that Pierce have on are low quality and ridiculous people, therefore he's cancel culture. I thought Ben would be cancel culture if Ben is advocating for YouTube to cancel Pierce's channel. If Ben is calling YouTube and saying, YouTube, I want you to delete Piers Morgan's channel, then I would say Ben is cancel culture because he's trying to get him off the platform of YouTube. That is cancel culture. That is how cancel culture operates. You want people to not have a platform. But when people have a platform and you think their platform is ridiculous, that is not cancel culture. That, Megyn Kelly, is what you call criticism. That is what it means to have an opinion about what someone is doing. That is like me listening to somebody's music and I say that person's music is trash. And you say, oh, that's cancel culture. No, that is not cancel culture. That is criticism. I think your show is trash. I think you have trash guests on. And I think your guests are ridiculous and they spew lies. That is not cancel culture. That is an opinion. And that opinion is laced with facts. But that Megyn Kelly that is talking about, how Ben Shapiro has become a cancel culture vulture. Here is what Andrew Clavin has to say about Megyn Kelly and how Megyn Kelly runs her show. Listen.
But it's garbage. And Tucker Carlson is a wicked man.
Let's take this back a bit.
But it's garbage. And Tucker Carlson is a wicked man. He has become, I don't know if he's become that or was always that. He is a wicked man. And Megyn Kelly has broken my heart by falling for the crap that he's selling, which the words that come out of Tucker's mouth are garbage. They're just not true. They're things that he says.
Yeah, if that is the thing about the so-called criticism, it would have been okay if these critics were raising a valid point. But when your criticism is just lies, just regurgitating lies and just lying and lying and lying on repeat, that is not criticism. That is spreading lies. And when people point out, no, that's a lie. This person is spreading lies. This person is an habitual liar. You say, oh, they are trying to cancel and silence the person. No, they are not. They're just calling out the fact that this person is a liar. And then when you platform that liar and you legitimize that liar and make that liar look like he's a normal, reasonable person that people should listen to, people are going to be like, don't you recognize all the lies that this person just spewed on your platform? And you did not even call them out on them. And you bring them on again and let them spew those lies over and over again. I mean, recently, Tucker Carlson was on Megyn Kelly's show talking about how the pro-Israel camp or the pro-Israel movement in America are practicing witchcraft and casting spells on people. We are going to see it. You might think this is ridiculous, but that is one of the recent releases from Tucker Carlson. And that was taking place on Megyn Kelly's show.
They're not factually true. And, you know, when I went on Megyn Kelly, I said, I don't want to come on your show without talking about this. And she said, I don't want you name-checking Tucker because my audience doesn't care about him. So I didn't. I said, you know, I talked about it in vague terms. I talked about Jew hater.
Did you hear what he just said? He said, when I went on Megyn Kelly, I told Megyn Kelly I will not be able to come on your show if I don't talk about the lies that are being spewed by Tucker Carlson. And Megyn Kelly told him that he should not name check any person on her show because her audience don't care about that. Is that not censorship? But of course, Ben Shapiro is the cancel culture vulture.
And conspiracy theorists, meaning Tucker and Candace, you know, but I didn't call them by name. But then she had Tucker on, and she falls for what he says, and she says, we're fighting Israel's war, which is simply untrue. It is factually not the case. We are fighting a war that we meant to fight with our natural allies, Israel. And I'm sad to see Megyn, who is a very bright and talented woman, I'm sad to see her going down a dark road. And I'm not going to be able to go on her show unless I talk about this with her directly. But even worse, she's made it look like Ben was right when we argued. I told Ben I didn't think he should call her out. I still think I was right about that, but now it looks like he's right, and that I cannot tolerate. Anyway, I just want to get that out of the way because I think that a lot of people, if you start with this premise that Israel is malignant and is running us, you're going to come to the wrong conclusions because it's factually not the case.
There you have it. There you have it. There you have it. And here's from Jackie Chie, or Chie, I don't know how her surname is pronounced. Ben Shapiro didn't cancel Megyn Kelly. He called her out. Nor did Ben cancel Piers Morgan. He simply ignored his text. That is it, oh. That is what now qualifies as cancel culture. To call somebody out and criticize somebody, cancel culture. To ignore somebody's text message, cancel culture. And Ben is the one who is behaving like Kamala Harris. No, it is Piers who is behaving like Kamala Harris because it's not just enough to say, you know what, do whatever you want to do, to each his own. Even though I think what you are doing is ridiculous, but to each his own, right? But no, it's not enough for Piers Morgan. You also have to reply his text message and come on his show. You know. And here is Dave Rubin. So this is the recent one. Dave Rubin said, I explained to Piers Morgan to his face why I won't do his panel shows anymore.
I will be completely, totally honest with you. About 8 months ago, I basically said to myself, I don't want to do Piers' show anymore because the way the debates go, all of the people, the screaming, the lunatics, the jank and these awful people where you have a certain set of people largely on the right who come on that are thoughtful and can explain their ideas and wajat and all these nutbags. And I really swore it off. And then I did do it again. I did it the day after Charlie died and I had to demolish jank the way I did with receipts. But I view it now as it's adding flame. It's just adding fuel to the fire that nothing good is coming out of it.
It is political slop. That is what it is. It is meaningless content. It's for people with sick minds. No, it's the truth. Often, every once in a while, you can see some good content on that show, but for the most part, all those shouting matches, it is just to create viral, clippable moments. That is what it is all about. Creating viral, clippable moments that people get to share on Twitter to claim that they owned somebody. It's not about passing knowledge or even informing people. debates now is a joke. Like there was a time where there were actual debates, and there are still actual debates. Like I said, modern debates is a good example. People actually go there and debate. Now, of course, you have people like Junior who, during the debate, will pull a toy monkey and start feeding it banana. There is that, but generally you can see good debates where you go to modern debates. There are also other platforms that host debates where people sit down from across each other and they are being reasonable. They are sharing facts. They are making they're making good faith arguments. They are actually knowledgeable about what they are talking about, right? But what you have with Piers Morgan is a shouting match. And people who win that are people who are good at shouting matches. That is what it is all about. And maybe there is one or two utility to that, but for the most part, it is useless.
And in a weird way, I don't mean that as a knock to you. I mean it maybe as a knock to what the internet has become. What do you make of it?
Well, I think
so. For example, if you ask me right now, Dave, you want to come on my show for a one-on-one interview the other way, or even for maybe a one-person debate, which I did it with you in person in London, with that socialist, and I enjoyed that. But the other thing I think has now become something that is not helping. That's just my opinion.
No, I think it's perfectly fair criticism, and I've seen criticism of my show where people say you're the Jerry Springer of political debate because you just want people fighting all the time. It's not true, actually.
Oh, it is different between you and Jerry Springer. Jerry Springer knew what he was doing and acknowledged it and accepted it. You, on the other hand, is lying like this is now, come on, this is exactly, you know what you are doing. Okay, you know what you are doing.
I don't like it when it becomes too much of a circus. I don't like it when people shout over each other because the viewer can't really understand what's happening. I do like fiery, passionate debate.
Anyway, so that is the clip that was posted by Dave Rubin, talking about him explaining to Piers Morgan why he wouldn't be on his show, especially for the shouting match part of it. And after posting that, the next thing that happened was Piers Morgan blocked him. This is the guy that said that is claiming that, other people cannot that people can, that someone like Ben Shapiro cannot take a criticism. They cannot take criticism. They cannot take criticism. They like to cancel people. This is cancel culture, blah, blah, blah. Ben will not pick my call. He will not reply my text. That's cancel culture. But here he is blocking Dave Rubin, who has been on his show multiple times, and who said in this clip that, look, if you call me for a one-on-one interview, I will come. If you call me for a one-on-one debate, I will come. But when you have this panel of 7 people or 8 people, I am not going to come for that. I think that is not helpful. That is not good. That does not contribute anything meaningful to the conversation, to whatever conversation is being had. I think that is counterproductive. That is all he said. And he said it to Piers Morgan to his face. He did not even say it behind his back. And we can see in that clip that Piers Morgan took the criticism. In all fairness, he did not shout. He was not offended. He said, you know what? That's a fair criticism. That is what he said. We just saw that, right? And then he posted that clip on X. And the next thing that follows is a block from Piers Morgan. But of course, the cancel culture vulture is Ben Shapiro. 1,000%, of course. And this is what Piers Morgan said before blocking Dave Rubin. He said, "You won't ever be doing my show again in any capacity." Oh my goodness. And see somebody like Vlad Tips, or Tapes, I don't know how that is pronounced, but Tips, I guess. So wait, he tells you openly and honestly why he refuses to be on the show. You sit there like a gimp and take it. Then act like Billy Big Bullock on X and tell him he's not welcomed after the fact. You have a really unique ability to make... You have a really unique ability to make yourself look like a complete C-word or what seems an almost permanent basis. And then someone said, why are you polite in the clip, but being a C-word in this response? Then this person said, Dave Rubin has a point that should not be ignored. Too many loud-mouthed left-wing lunatics on your show who cannot debate at all. They consistently shout and disrespect the conservative and Republican guests, whose opinion, by the way, are level-headed for the most part. Your show is a magnet for idiotic left-wing nutcases. Make it better. That is it. That is it. It has turned to a shouting match where everybody shout at each other. This way say, I've been on your show before and have declined to return for the same reason. You say you don't like it. You are either lying and use the circus to make you appear an authority, or worse, you don't believe you are talented enough to get the viewership and become a top-tier legitimate journalist. I think it is the latter, and it explains why. Okay, let me read this again. I've been on your show before and have declined to return for the same reason. You say you don't like it. You are either lying and you use the circus to make yourself appear an authority, or worse, you don't believe you are talented enough to get the viewership and become a top-tier legitimate journalist. I think it is the latter, and it explains why you never made it as big as you probably should have. It's obvious you had a lot of talent and clearly plenty of opportunity, but the actual results you've achieved just never quite hit the mark. Only you know which one is the truth. I'm just speculating. So this person is saying there are two reasons why you did do this, because you say, oh, I don't like this, but it's either you don't like this. When you say you don't like this, this person is saying when Piers Morgan say I don't like this, he's either lying and using this circus to make himself appear as an authority, or he's doing this because he doesn't believe that he's talented enough to get the viewership that he wants and become a top-tier legitimate journalist. So he has decided to resort to this ante where he puts on this shouting match and he thinks that's the only way he's going to, get the recognition and, a successful show going. And this person is saying he thinks the latter is probably the case. He's doing all of this because he thinks that's the only way he's going to get the clicks that he wants. So, okay, there is this other tweet that I from Piers. There's this other exchange from Piers and Dave Rubin that I did not include. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it. This guy is still going on and on and on about. Okay, so this is Megyn Kelly's response. We've already gone through that. And then this person said, Megyn Kelly has responded after Tucker Carlson said U.S. soldiers might... Okay, Megyn Kelly has responded after Tucker Carlson said U.S. soldiers might rape Iranian women in victory, blamed Kabab for the Iran war, and warned of a secret plot to destroy Al-Aqsa Mosque to bring about end times. So her response is she attacked Ben Shapiro. And then Dave Rubin replied, pretty sure Megyn got some of the Botox in her brain, and Piers would sell his mother to a jihadist for click. Oh my goodness, there's no love in this industry. And Piers would sell his mother to a jihadist for a click. My goodness, that is brutal. That is brutal. Oh my goodness, that is brutal. 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 And then Piers Morgan responded, whoa, 4 months ago, I drove out to do Rubin's podcast at his house in Miami as a personal favor because he has done my show many times. I thought we were friends. How wrong could I be? What a treacherous little weasel. Being Netanyahu's useful idiot has sent him and... yeah, they are all... They are all Netanyahu's useful idiots. Of course they are. They are. Why you are the useful idiot of Islamists? You are the useful idiot of radical Islam. You will sell your mother for a you will sell your mother to a jihadist for a click. You will. You will at this point. You will at this point. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Dave Rubin said, "Oh dear, Pierce just posted this and blocked me. He can dish it, but he can't take it. I would have thought more highly of an esteemed British. I would have thought more highly of an esteemed British tabloid journalist. My goodness. My goodness. My goodness. My goodness. Oh, this is Grant Cardone. Anyway. Anyways, so let's see if we can look at something else before we bring the show to a close. I'm not about to do another 5 hours, okay? What else do we look at? All right, let's look at Tucker Carlson. Some of the things Tucker Carlson has been saying. And then we also look at statements that we've gotten from Qatar and statements from Candace Owens. Right, so we are going to look at all of that. And maybe after that, there was this stuff I want to look at. Then we are going to look at, I think, because we are going to be talking on the subject of Iran, then we are going to look at Iran's spokesperson who did an interview in Nigeria. And then we are going to look at those who are protesting the United States. The United States attacking Iran. They are protesting that. Some people are protesting that in Nigeria. So we are going to look at all of that. All of that. Guys, please remember to smash the like button. And, do all the YouTube things, okay? Smash the like button. And we continue the awesomeness. Okay? Okay, so this is Tucker Carlson on Megyn Kelly's show. Tucker Carlson is now claiming that McLevin is essentially using witchcraft to create truth simply by speaking, and that Mike Huckabee is under some kind of spell that's causing him to support Israel. All right. So let's listen to this. Right.
And what people like Levin, whom I'm not attacking, I feel sorry for because he's clearly living in hell. But what they're
This is one of the things that Tucker Carlson does. Tucker Carlson, when he's about to attack somebody, says, I'm not attacking the person. When he's about to demonize somebody, he says, I'm not demonizing somebody. So how you know what Tucker Carlson is doing is what he says he's not doing. Tucker Carlson say, I am not, that thing he said he's not doing. That is what he's doing. That's how to know what Tucker Carlson is doing. So here he just said, I am not attacking McLevin, but he's about to attack McLevin. So let's go back and listen to him again.
And what people like Levin, whom I'm not attacking, I feel sorry for because he's clearly living in hell. But what they're trying to do is a species of witchcraft.
Of course.
And it's really simple. You repeat something until it becomes true.
I just find it interesting that the person who claimed that he was attacked by demons is saying another person is living in hell. The person who claimed that he was attacked by demons is claiming that another person is living in hell. Tucker Carlson, you were attacked by demons. McLevin was not attacked by demons. You claimed that you were attacked by demons. No one else said it. You said it. You claimed that. I mean, if someone is being attacked by demons, they are scratching your skin. I mean, who exactly is living in hell? But let's take it back again and listen to some of the nonsense he has to say.
is a species of witchcraft.
Okay.
And it's really simple. You repeat something until it becomes true.
Yeah. Who else is doing that? Who else is that person who is doing this repetition of lies until it becomes true? You know, this form of witchcraft where you repeat something until it becomes true. Who else is doing that? Who else? Who else? Who else? You know, I don't know. I think it's only McLevin that is doing that. It's only McLevin who is in the business of repeating something until it becomes true. I mean, who else could be doing that? You know, who else? You know, who else?
You speak, you create truth by speaking. In the beginning was the word, right? There's a holy power, there's a supernatural power in words. Describing things is different from simply doing them. And if you can talk reality into being, this is what an incantation is. This is what
These people are sharing the same. These people are sharing the same brain cells with Candace Owens. You can't convince me otherwise at this point. These people have looked at Candace Owens and are blown away by how she can say complete nonsense, arrant stupidity, and get the awe of her audience. And they have decided to adopt her technique. By speaking, you are casting spells. That is what an incantation is about. You will things into existence by speaking them. What is this? Positive confession? What are you, a new ager? My goodness.
spell is. It's not like spooky, like crazy stuff. It's the...
And you have this moron, this complete idiot. This one here, this one that I'm rolling my mouse over, nodding like a fool, like an agama lizard. You have this idiot over here, nodding. You know, sometimes I don't have a problem with people speaking nonsense. It's the people who are doing like they're hearing the voice of an angel.
Lived reality of every person. Say it and it becomes true. And that's exactly what they're trying to do. Shills like Pompeo are getting paid from who knows how many different groups to lie to you.
Yeah. You are the one who is not being, you are the one who is not being paid. Of course, you bought a home in Qatar because you are not being paid. Of course, it's just you are doing this for free. You know, you just love your country and you want to save it. Every other person, these morons.
Some sort of moral voice or poor Mike Huckabee guys like that who are just like under some spell.
Yeah, Mark Huckabee is under a spell, but you who claimed to have literally been attacked by demons, you are free. We should trust you. We should trust the guy who said he was attacked by demons. So we are talking about people who may probably be under demonic manipulation, who may probably be under the spell of witchcraft. It will not be the guy who was attacked by demons. No, it will be the people that he is attacking, of course. Powerful stuff. My goodness, the projection on this one is strong. It's strong.
Let's just be honest about what this is. It's not
something you are physically incapable of doing, Tucker Carlson. Being honest.
About Iran's weapons. It's about Israel's ambitions. But there's something deeper. There's like almost a spell. I mean, Huckabee, for example. You really think Huckabee is being threatened? I know Huckabee well. I'm sure you do too.
Yes.
Nice man. Like, what is this? And I look at him and I see a man under a spell. I mean this. And I'll be mocked for it, but I mean it. There's no practical, conventional explanation for some of this behavior. I mean, I look at Ted Cruz and I'm like, I think I know what's going on. Lindsey Graham, I think I know what's going on. But Mike Huckabee, I think he is under a spell. He is not.
But you are free.
Not thinking clearly.
You that will spew countless lies, like effortlessly you will spew lies. You are not under a spell
at all. And so when Mike Huckabee said,
the truth at the end of the day is I don't blame Tucker Carlson. I don't. I can't even continue to listen to this nonsense. I don't blame Tucker Carlson. You know who I blame? I blame the people who still listen to him. If you are listening to him, you deserve the brain damage that he's doing to you. Okay, what he's doing to your moral compass, you deserve it. What he's doing to your soul, you deserve it. Continue. Keep listening to him. This person says, every accusation is a confession. Exactly. So she nods along like a retard, like she's retarded. It is so pathetic. 100%. 100%. And this is from Nathan Livingstone. That's from Migbot TV. He said, Tucker Carlson over and over, Pearl Harbor was a false flag attack. Roosevelt knew it was coming and used it to get America into World War II. Tucker Carlson today, America's sneak attacking Iran is the equivalent of a bombing of Pearl Harbor. So Pearl Harbor was the US government's fault, and America attacking Iran would be as bad as Pearl Harbor. Tucker clearly just hates America. No, it's when you lie, you cannot keep track with your lies. That is what happens. You are lying, and at this point, you cannot even keep track with how many lies you've spewed. That now your current lie is contradicting your previous lie. It happens a lot with liars. It's hard to keep track. When you lie a lot, it becomes hard. It's like Muhammad, that is why he has abrogations in the Quran, because he was manufacturing nonsense. So he sometimes forget what he said before and has to come up with something new. And then he says, you know what, if I say something that is contrary to what I'm saying now, just consider it abrogated. But of course, Tucker Carlson is not a prophet, so he can't keep track of his lies or say he has abrogated it.
People would say, oh, Roosevelt knew that the Japanese were going to attack Oahu in December of 1941. I was like, you must be crazy. Well, it turns out that's true. 1941, when we got into the war, when Roosevelt allowed Pearl Harbor to happen, which he did.
We knew to the morning that Pearl Harbor was going to get attacked.
It's clear there was foreknowledge of Pearl Harbor. It's just absolutely clear. But if it ever emerges that our diplomatic efforts with Iran, both in February of this year and in June of last year, were fake, and they were designed to lull the Iranians into a false sense of security so we could launch a sneak attack on them, how is that better than Pearl Harbor? How is that better than any dishonorable sneak attack?
Oh, so Pearl Harbor was a sneak attack that America did not know of then? Keep track. Tucker, you have to write your lies in a book so that you don't contradict them. Keep track. Be like Muhammad. Have a book. Have a book. I have to wonder, somebody said, I have to wonder, now that it appears that Tucker is in the same manner working for Russia or BRICS or whatever, is this just the family business, the Tucker tradition? Was his dad a spy for Russia too? Just a question, when did countries forget how to win wars? Hypothetically, if America had planned a sneak attack, why wouldn't America seek to have the biggest advantage? Because they would be risking the life of its soldiers. War are waged to be won or to achieve its military goals. Winning is the only option when going to war. Otherwise, you shouldn't start them. Whatever he is, if Russia or Islamist brain, whatever he is, if Russia or Islamist brainwashed, man, let me not even continue. Remember when some folks were suggesting Tucker could be controlled opposition? That there is a family tie to CIA, and we are all now looking at the context. Remember when some folks were suggesting Tucker could be controlled opposition? That there are family ties to CIA, and we were all now look at the content. Speak properly or write properly. I guess our attack on Iran is worse than Pearl Harbor. It's clear Russian propaganda. He's a Russian agent. I don't know what kind of agent he is. I just think he's a liar, a pathological liar. That's what he is. Meanwhile, Qatar, that he was defending, have said this about Iran.
It is a big sense of betrayal. This is the second time. That's why.
This person is talking about Iran attacking Qatar, and he's saying that they feel that this is a deep sense of betrayal, and that this is the second time that Iran is doing this to Qatar.
It's also for us, it's been something really significant to see the attack, which was showing that being pre-planned. Once the war started, just maybe an hour after the start of the war, Qatar and the other Gulf countries being attacked right away. And all of us, before this war and repeatedly, we've been saying and repeating that we are not going to take part of any attacks or any wars against our neighbors. We would like to see a peaceful neighborhood. We were helping Iran and the United States in reaching diplomatic solutions. but this miscalculation by the Iranians to attack the Gulf countries has destroyed everything, actually.
No, but according to the idiots on the internet, this has united the Muslim world. That's brought all of them together. Now the Muslims are more united than ever. Shias and Sunni have come together, and now they are going to be one powerful ummah, and they are going to destroy, the big Satan and the small Satan. The United States don't know what they just started. Of course. And here you have an official from Qatar saying this is a huge betrayal, this is a miscalculation from Iran, and this has destroyed everything. But of course, we should ignore all of that and focus on the people who are telling us that no, this is Iran playing 4D chess, of course.
We would be like the glimpse of hope to bring some diplomatic solutions to the current conflict, and to be, to be attacked by one of the parties of that conflict. We will prioritize, of course, defending our country and making sure that our people's lives, goes normally, and they, as much as possible, they don't feel these threats coming to our countries.
Yeah, maybe next time, Qatar. Maybe next time, don't think that you can. There's something that we say in Nigeria. You say the person that any person who keeps a pet python should not think that python will not one day swallow him. So Iran, your pet python, is now swallowing you. You think that, we can contain this madness. We can even use it for our advantage. We can be that middleman that is trying to broker peace by, giving a terrorist state an audience and trying to, appease them. Now you've realized that is not the way forward. But continue, do it again so that they can bomb you again. Meanwhile, we have the foreign minister of Iran going around letting people know that no, we are not attacking Qatar, we are not attacking our neighbors, we are just attacking US bases, and we've made it clear to them that we are not waging war against them. Meanwhile, the neighbors are like, no, you've made this whole thing worse. This is an error in your judgment, this is a miscalculation, and you have increased the hostility that our nation have towards yours. And I hope Tucker Carlson has gotten the message that the people who pay his bills, the people he's shilling for, are switching sides when it has to do with Iran. And as we saw from what he just said, the attacks were actually coming from Iran. They were not, false flags by Mossad in Qatar and Saudi Arabia, like he suggested the other day. Moving on. All right, so this is from Candace Owens, the brilliant Candace Owens. Candace Owens is now claiming Charlie Kirk was sacrificed by Freemasons. Let's just watch it. Let me not read the whole thing. Let's just watch her make the
deeper
outstanding
than that.
claim.
I am now of the opinion.
Let's take this back.
Deeper than that. I am now of the opinion that he was likely sacrificed, and I want to tell you why I got there. You guys know, if you're a part of.
It's not the Egyptian planes. It's not the CIA. It's not the bees. It's not the Israelis. It's not Benjamin Netanyahu. It's now the Freemason people. Oh, and people are still watching this, of course.
My book club, I've been doing a lot of research into Freemasonry. About a month ago, while we took a break to prepare for our Bride of Charlie series, someone sent me this. I'm showing you, this is what they sent me in the mail.
Just take a look at this book. I really want you guys to observe this book and take a good look at the book. Just take a good look at the book. Look at the book. It's the Holy Bible of the Freemason, whatever. I want you to observe that book. Observe it. I hope you guys have observed it. I'm giving you time, okay? Look at the book, observe the pages. What do you notice about it, okay? Keep everything you notice about the book in your mind. Or you can even write it in the comments, okay? What you notice about the book, the state of the book, what state the book is in. Take note of it, okay? If you've done that, all right, let's continue. Let me know if you've done that. Let at least one or two persons just say, we've taken note of it. Or just let me know you've taken note of it in the chat. So I will know that you guys have taken note of this book. Or the state of the book. Okay, the book that she's showing. All right. I hope to get more responses. Are you guys taking note of the book? Anyway, we'll proceed.
Something that is known as a Freemason Bible. Now, I knew that these existed because of my studying Sigmund Freud and looking into the fact that he had inherited one from his father. The backstory of this one in particular came with a handwritten letter, is that a 33rd degree Freemason out in Oklahoma died, and all of his belongings were left in a home that was eventually auctioned off. And the person who had this in his possession, his relative was the person who acquired the home. And they went in and they burned everything in it effectively, thinking that it was obviously just carrying bad spirits. But he, for some reason, had the sense that he should keep this one item. For no particular reason, he kept it in the back of his truck for over a decade.
That is the part right there. That book that she just showed you guys has been in the back of somebody's truck for 10 years. That book with the fresh cover, you can see how new the cover is. You can see how how new the book is looking. That book has been in the truck of somebody's car for it has been in his trunk for 10 years.
And when he saw me covering the history of Freemasonry and what they believe, trying to discern what it is that they believe, he felt that this was the reason that he had kept it all those years. So he just sent it to me.
Yes, and all these coincidences keep happening since you started uncovering the mystery of Charlie Kirk's murder and assassination. You have coincidences, things just keep happening. The lines are just falling in pleasant places for you. You just keep stumbling upon clues. Everything is a clue. A Bible, a book, a something. You know, the other day you see a bird and the bird tells you something about Charlie. You look at an earthworm and the earthworm speaks to you. Everything. You step on it or you hit your foot against a stone and, that is somehow proof of something. When the pain went through your toenails to your brain, you felt something, a light bulb sparked, and then you realized this was how Charlie was assassinated. This tells us what we should know about his death. Something about this kind of registered in my spirit. And I remember that one time, Charlie sent me a text message about stones. And I was like, yes, stones. And people keep watching this. At this point, I feel 40% of, at least 40, there should be at least 40% of people watching Candace Owens just for the entertainment value. Like, it is entertaining to just watch her madness. And I think that's why some people are just watching it. Most of the people, I believe that most of the people, like maybe not most, but a significant portion of our audience are watching it just so that they can see some of this ridiculous stuff and laugh their behinds off.
To provide me further insight into what they believe and what they practice at the top of Freemasonry. This is not your granddad's Freemason lodge, okay? Oh, my dad was a lodge. It was just no, this is not that. That is not what 33rd degree Freemasonry is. So I flipped through this immediately after we did douse it in holy water.
Why? They doused it in holy water. Yes, sure. Yeah, true. Yeah.
After we did douse it in holy water.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying?
You can get it for $10 on Amazon. You can. I don't want the audio to play because I don't want this to get like a copyright restriction or something. But just. You can get this for $25. You can pre-order it. You can pre-own it. Like it is pre-owned and you can order this. This is for people who own it and they are selling it on, I think on Amazon. You can get it for $36. You can get it for $26. You can get it for $10. It is pre-owned copy of it. You can get this online, essentially. But, this is new and this is pre-owned. You can get them on Amazon. But sure, somebody whose great-grandfather was part of the Freemason Society or whatever it is called, used to own so many of these things, and then they were all burnt down because they wanted to get rid of the witchcraft. But, this person kind of saves this book, because God knew that, at this point in time, Candace Owens was going to need to, get the book, which is kind of scarce, but is also available online. So, just by sheer divine orchestration, right? Once you started talking about the Freemasons and whatever, that guy was like, yeah, let me send this to Candace Owens. And all this backstory is to kind of give her some form of credibility and make her audience believe that something grand is taking place when it's just not happening. My goodness. This is fantastic stuff. This is fantastic stuff. Anyway, I think this is the point where we get to Nigeria. Right. So, and this is from the Iran's ambassador to Nigeria. I don't think this is Iran ambassador to Nigeria. I think this is Iran foreign minister, but who knows? Okay. But what this person is saying here is Iran's ambassador to Nigeria said, Iran is ready to support Nigeria's effort in combating terrorism. Of course, Iran has gone from sponsoring terrorism to combating terrorism. Let's listen to this. Oh, the audio.
Two different, sections. First of all, we just as a just baseless allegation which that person raised. Iran, has so many, Iran, in fact, has some followers. According to the followers of the spiritual leader, those person Muslims, not only the Shia, not only the Sunni, they are followers, spiritually, culturally, not politically. And you can see in Africa, after assassination of our supreme leader, they have some, peaceful rallies and, occasions. I mean, funeral, mourning occasions. So it doesn't mean that Iran defending, those groups. No. It's a moral and a spiritual, connection, because they are Muslims. We are Muslims, and for this,
I don't even understand what the point is, but the post that came, the write up, the tag, or the what I call it, caption that came with this video said Iran is talking about combating terrorism, but of course that is not what we hear from this video. I think this person in this video is trying to deny any kind of claim that Iran is spreading terrorism in Nigeria. I think that is what is written here. So I think this this caption here is not true, and he even put it in quotes as if that was said, but that was not said. Okay, that was not said. So it's kind of fake news, fake posting. Because if we just listen to the clip, and nowhere did he said Iran is ready to support Nigeria's effort in combating terrorism. It wasn't said there. So it's kind of fake posting. I find it... I feel like this person just deceived me. How dare you? Because if that was the case, I already had things to bring up. Like I already had refutations like this. Armed seizure, Iran behind shipment, security agencies say. So this happened in 2010, right? In 2010, in Nigeria, the State Secret Service uncovered a plot by Iran to ship weapons into Nigeria illegally. Okay? This was uncovered. This is footage of it, and this is a report about it. So I was like, if the foreign minister, or the ambassador to Nigeria, the Iran ambassador to Nigeria, is talking about how Iran does not, is trying to help combat the spread of terrorism in Nigeria, I'll be like, no, they have a history of spreading terrorism even in Nigeria and supporting terrorism even in Nigeria. Smuggling weapons into Nigeria illegally to sponsor terror activities even in this country. We have news stories of that. We have news stories of Hezbollah armory discovered in Kano State. This is from 2013. Hezbollah is being funded by Iran, and they had their armory discovered in Kano State. This is a news report about it. I was ready to bring it up. It's just that from what we just saw, that was not what the ambassador to Iran was saying. That, because if he had said something to the effect of, we are going to help combat terrorism in Nigeria, because people are like, please, you have been one of the people who have been funding it, who have been facilitating it. You know. But that is not true, So, but of course, yeah, we have breaking news. This is breaking news from many days ago, or a few days ago, from like 3 days ago. Breaking: protesters in Abuja chant "Death to America, death to Israel," and march through the capital with security protection, which is what I find interesting. Now, you people may not know the big deal about this protest taking place in Abuja, Nigeria. In Nigeria, if you carry out a protest in Abuja, especially if you are carrying it out in Abuja, the government will say you shouldn't carry it out, that it is going to be hijacked by nefarious actors who will turn the protest into a riot. And for that reason, you are not going to be given permission to carry out the protest. That's what they usually say. But in this instance, it was okay to carry out this protest. And they had security protection as they were carrying out this protest, chanting "Death to America, death to Israel" in Nigeria. Look at these hungry people. These hungry people who cannot feed their families are out here shouting "Death to America." Look at them.
Death to America! Death to America! Death to Israel! Death to Israel!
Let's look at this. Look at these poverty-stricken individuals who are jobless, especially. They are essentially jobless because they live in a country where, unemployment is like at an all-time high. And instead of trying to do something meaningful with their lives, they decide to congregate and chant "Death to America" and "Death to Israel." Somebody said, go better for now people for North, Bandit and Boko Haram, they pie every day, and una don't run come out for Borno finish. I never see una they protest. Israel and America will wind this war, and Ayatollah Khamenei has already been sent to cease feet. Okay, let me translate what I just read to English. Let me translate what I just said, what this person just said to English. What he said is that in the North, they have the problem with bandits. They have the problem with Fulani jihadis. They have the problem with Boko Haram. They have the problem with ISWAP and all these terror organizations that are operating freely in the North. And for once, these people have never protested. Okay? Even mosques get attacked by these terrorists. These terrorists, like they always tell us, they attack both Muslims and Christians, right? But when they attack the Muslims, these people don't protest. These people protest. These people don't talk about it. These people don't complain about it. It's kind of business as usual. It's like, to make omelets, you have to crack a few eggs, right? But a war that is many miles away, happening in far, far, far Iran, they are protesting and chanting "Death to Israel, death to America." But when the government, their own government, will not do anything as insecurity worsens in their area, they say absolutely nothing. Sometimes it kind of make me ask myself, why do I share a country with these people? And here is something that I think is interesting. This is something you don't see every day. So this is from BBC Politics. There's in an interview with the foreign minister, I think, or Iran's ambassador to the UK. This is not for. I keep thinking there's the foreign minister, but there's ambassador. Okay, this is Iran's ambassador to the UK, Saeed Ali Musafi, talking about being questioned about Iran killing thousands of its own people during a protest that took place this year.
Your country is under attack, but your people have also been under attack. Since we last spoke, your government has killed thousands of its own people in the streets who had the courage to stand up to protest against the suffering that they have been experiencing at the hands of the regime. Thousands of people were killed. How on earth do you justify that, Ambassador?
The Iranian side has their own problems due to the economic sanctions against us. And the
Wait. So the economic sanctions against you is the reason why you are shooting your own people? Okay.
Iranian people, unfortunately, has their own problems, in this matter.
Yeah, that is that's just an unfortunate situation. We have the IRGC in the streets shooting protesters in the face, right? Point blank, between their eyes, headshots, right? Body bags all over the place. It's kind of unfortunate, it happens. It's one of the internal conflict that we are just trying to manage. Yeah.
But I do believe, yes, now our people are in a very painful and sensitive period of time, but they are...
it's just a painful, sensitive period of time. Yeah.
Supporting the government against the foreign invader, foreign aggressors.
Of course.
You see, if you go to the inside of Iran, you can see one solidarity, one unity among the people.
Yes. If you go to Iran and we control what you get to see, yes, you will see what we want you to see.
Ambassador, we would love to be able to report independently from inside Iran.
That is something that is never going to happen. Report independently how? Bao? How would that happen? For where?
See what is really going on.
Why not?
But we have seen much of what has
Why
gone on.
not? Because your regime will not allow it. Why not? Yeah. Why won't you be able to report independently from Iran? If you want that, you can. No, you will not. The regime will not allow it.
Just this morning, I looked at many of the images and watched some of the videos from what happened to protesters in your country in January. I looked at images and videos verified independently by our colleagues at BBC Verify that show body bags littered over the courtyard of a mortuary, the Karizak Forensic Medical Center in Iran. I saw images of young, old, teenagers, people killed by your government, beaten faces, bloodied bodies, gunshot wounds. How on earth do you justify that and sit there today saying our people have some complaints?
Yeah, it's just some complaints. It's economic sanction. It's just harsh weather conditions. Come on. It's one of those things that happen, It happens all the time. It's just minor grievance, a little, inconvenience. Happens every once in a while.
Your government killed thousands of their own people, and the world saw that.
Laura, I recommend you to be very vigilant and delicate
and our colleagues have verified those images independently, Mr. Ambassador.
Of Iran. Let me finish. And so I do not want to say that we do not have any problem. No. The problem there are in our country, but you see that how to address these kind of problems according to the Iranian laws and regulations, it's a very important. And the other,
how do you? As if Jesus Christ! Oh my goodness! No, it's just unfortunate that they don't used to shoot ambassadors. Yeah, it's just unfortunate.
Without any interference of the foreign countries against Iran.
For sure. Yeah, we just have issues and nobody should interfere as we butcher our own people. Just allow us kill our own people for goodness sake. We have ways we do these things. Allow us to decide within ourselves how we are going to butcher our own people and do not interfere as we massacre our own people in the thousands.
This was not about foreign interference. This was about your own people taking to the streets to protest against their suffering. And if you had nothing to hide, why turn off the internet during the protests? If you had nothing to hide, why not allow people to report freely and fairly?
Because the internet now using as a military devices.
Yeah. Yeah. Putting on the internet is against national security, It's against national security of Israel, not of Israel, of Iran rather. It's against the national security of Iran. That is why they turned off the internet, of course.
Against the Iranian security.
Yes.
You should be very delicate regarding for the Iranian circumstances and condition in Iran.
Our colleagues at BBC.
Yeah, we wish you guys are also sensitive with how you treat your own people. So unfortunate. So unfortunate. Let me see what some people have to say. That's great that you could verify those images and videos. It proves that you could also verify that the vast majority of people in the protest were chanting for the return of Pahlavi and that there was no other name called by the people. Wow, finally, journalists from BBC. Let me check the window and see if pigs are flying. Wow, okay, let's read it again. Wow, finally, journalism from BBC. Let me check the window and see if pigs are flying. Basically, he's dodging the questions, yes, and saying it's up to the Iranian state if they want to kill thousands of their own citizens. Of course, that's what he's saying. It's up to them. They should be able to do whatever they want to do to their own people. They have a way of solving this thing, and it's by shooting their own people in the face. That is how they do it. You know, that is how they do it. All right. Lastly, or should there be anything done lastly? Kind of tired. Let me do one more. Do I have time? Maybe some other time. All right, guys. Thank you all. Thank you so much for joining me on this live stream. I really had a wonderful time, and I hope you did too. Thank you all so much. Thank you all so much. Until we meet again, God bless you and keep you. And I'm already tired. All right, we will see you again sometime this week. I don't know when, but sometime this week. Until then, have a very fantastic day or night, and God bless you. God bless you.